gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́ nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bọ́mọ pẹ́rẹ́ mi padà ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ bolóṣèlú kankan ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ bú wọn mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àṣẹ wọn àwọn ará pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àtọ́ bá jólóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àdàlúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fúnjà Yorùbá big man ni mi àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pé sọ́wọ́ ni mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí Fúlàní mọ́ dá mi dúró títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lóńdò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
KOIKIMEDIA, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, kìnìún ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdán ọgbẹ́jẹ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga.
Òdúdú àkóbá lè gbé wá.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣègìrì, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
KOIKIMEDIA, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú Alárẹ̀mí ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. KOIKIMEDIA, ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, má bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú Alárẹ̀mí, ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé mádémádé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀, àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o Koiki Media ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbétò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó ń kàngi oko lára ni.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́ àwa ní bàbá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Òdúdúwà lágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sọdí kẹta.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán, a tún pèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media we bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
Give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Koiki Media.
Koi.
Orúkọ mi ni Sunday Adéyẹmọ tí gbogbo yẹn mọ̀ sí Sunday Ìgbòho. Sàmọ̀gbẹ́tẹ̀ bá jọ ọmọ Ìbàdàn tó bá ń gbé kó wọ́n mọ̀ pé ní bàbá Ìbàdàn wọ́n lè mọ̀ pé ẹlẹ́mìí àpè ní Ìbàdàn. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yẹn tó bá ń gbé ìlú òdì kejì tó bá jọ ọmọ bòmí ó kọ ìlú tó ti wá yẹn náà máa fi pè é níbi tó ń gbé. Èmi náà jẹ́ kan nínú ẹni tó kópa nínú ogun Mọdákẹ́kẹ́ àti Ifẹ̀. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tó bá gbọ́ sórí ogun yẹn tó ń gbọ́ gbogbo pa tí mo kó mẹ́rin pé ọkùnrin mẹ́rin ogun bàbá yẹn ń gba ogun ó ṣe báyìí ó máa ń jẹ́ kí ẹlòmíràn pé ọkùnrin ni akíkanjú ọkùnrin ni. Gbogbo wa wàhálà Ládọjà àtàwọn bàbá dídí búmbàdàn náà gbogbo àwọn tí wàhálà yẹn sojú wọn wọ́n fẹ́ impeach Ládọjà wọ́n fẹ́ yẹ Ládọjà ń pò wọ́n fẹ́ gbàjọba lọ wọ́n fẹ́ yẹ Ládọjà jẹ nǹkankan tí mi dẹ̀ dúró tì ń gbà yẹn gbogbo àwọn tó rí pa tí mo kó láti pé kí wọ́n mọ̀ rí Ládọjà yẹn jẹ́ ń gbà yẹn. Sùtẹ́lù mi bá rí mi rí wọn pé ọkùnrin mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n nìyẹn bí wọ́n ṣe bọ́ta ṣe pọ̀ tó Ọlọ́run ṣẹ́gun wọn fún un. Èròǹgbà mi lórí ìgbésẹ̀ àwọn Fúlàní yẹn ni pé ẹnu Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ kò tí wọ́n bá mọ̀ pé wọ́n fẹ́ ká bá Fúlàní jà káwọn bàbá wa gbogbo àwọn ọba wa gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa wọ́n ṣáájú kàn pè wá sí mítì kàn wọ́n dẹ̀ fún wa pé tó àwọn ọmọ yìí o kí ròyìn dé sì gbé kí gbogbo ayé rí pé tó àwọn ni wọ́n sọ pé tó ká kojú wọn gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti fẹ́ jẹ Yorùbá ká fèsì ibẹ̀ Ọlọ́run mọ̀mọ̀ mú wa agbára mélòó wà làwọn Fúlàní wà ní wọn ò tó ń tó ń pera wọn wọn fọlọ́gbọ́ra fún yín wọn ò tó ń tó ń pera wọn Ọlọ́run bá lódùmarè ń gbọ́ ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá ní nǹkan tí àwa náà ní lọ́dọ̀ àwọn bàbá jogún náà bàbá ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lò ń sìn ká bọ́ta wọ́n sọ wá ló kọ́ míì táwọn bàbá bá mọ̀ pé yà ń jẹ àwọn Yorùbá kàn pe gbogbo wa sí mítìn kàn pe Ọọ̀ni kàn pa Láàfin kàn pa àwọn bàbá Àwùjalẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn ọba yẹn tó bá jókòó kàn á pè wá kàn invite gbogbo wa wá Ọlọ́run bá lágbára èmi ò tó nǹkan kan àwọn tó tún lágbára jù wá lọ pọ̀ tó pọ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ kàn pe gbogbo wọn jọ so tí ń sìn tó máa pè wọn jọ tó bá mọ̀ pé lè kan ru wa náà ipá náà sì lè ní pátá lè kó kọ́ pè wá káwájọ jókòó káwo bá ṣe fẹ́ ṣe tí ò ní sí nǹkan kan ẹ̀mí gbọ̀n kankan mọ́ ẹlòmíì rẹ̀ ń gbọ́ gbòó ni kò kúrí mi rí ẹlòmíì á ní ó lè kọ̀máǹdì mọ́ ó lójú àwọn tí mo ṣe lójú wọn rí ẹlòmíì á ló lè ṣe báyìí ẹlòmíì tí bá ṣe kan lójú ẹ̀ yóò sọ 10 ṣé nǹkan tí mo sọ yìí ẹlòmíì á sì ní ẹnu ni so àwọn tí wàá mọ́ sọ pé nu nìyẹn èmi mọ́ bẹ lọ́run kí nǹkan dẹ̀mí àti wọn pọ̀ wọ́n lè rí pé kì í sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀nà ṣùgbọ́n pé kẹ́nìkan wá lóhun dìde ṣe èmi ìwọ ni mi Sunday Igboho mo wá bọ́ ọ̀tá o àbá nígbà tí wọ́n bá fi dọ̀tún la Buhari ó pàṣẹ láti Àbújá sọ́jà tí ó ka mọ́ta nkìdé yóò ju togun boko haram tó ń jẹ́ ilẹ̀ Haúsá lọ wọn ò ríra wọn bẹ̀ yẹn tá a bá dẹ́rẹ̀ wò nísìn ẹ̀ rí i pé wọ́n yìí máa lọ́wọ́ gbogbo táwọn ń ṣe ilẹ̀ Haúsá tó ń mú jẹ yẹn tá a bá dẹ́rẹ̀ wò nísìn wọ́n yìí máa lọ́wọ́ torí pé àwọn Yorùbá kan náà ní ọ̀lọ́ bá wọn lọ́hùn tí wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ọmọ bí wọ́n ṣe wọ́n ṣe nu pa ẹ̀ làwọn ọmọ ayákìlá làwọn ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n yẹn ta la parí ta ìyá yóò la parí ìdíjà yẹn làlá fẹ́ gbé ó tó fi gba sùúrù nìyẹn ó gbọgbọ́n kì í ṣe nǹkan tí yẹn kàn kágbádá ọrùn tó kó funpa tó kó lóńdè tó gbé bọ̀kọ́rùn tó lọ́fẹ́ lọ pàdé Fúlàní o bí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ wọ́n sọ di nǹkan mímọ́ yẹn lọ́wọ́ àfi kéèyàn jókòó kó lọ́wọ́ àwọn bàbá yẹn táwọn bàbá yẹn ó ṣèwé kán sáyìn fún wa pé àwa la ṣèwé fún yín pé ìyà gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ Yorùbá gbogbo bíkíbi tí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá dé ẹ lọ ṣàbò lórí ẹ̀pọ̀ àwọn ọmọ tẹ bá mọ̀ ń bẹ kẹ́ ṣàbò àwọn ọmọ ń bẹ ńlẹ̀ bàbá mi àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ń bẹ ńlẹ̀ tí wọn ò ní sá rárá àwọn ọmọ tẹ́wọ̀n tán jókòó wọ̀nyí wọ́n yìí sọ wọn ìṣẹ́ran rírọ̀ but ọgbọgbọ́n àlèkè sọ pé ẹ mọ lọ sí Ìkirè bí wọ́n ti ń kidnap Yorùbá ẹ mọ lọ Òṣogbo ẹ mọ lọ Ìlọrin ẹ mọ lọ sí yóò di nǹkan mímu wa lọ́wọ́ tó bá ti dá wọn lójú pé àwọn làwọn bí wa àwọn sì làwọn bàbá àwọn ni bàbá wa lẹ̀ Yorùbá ń bí wọ́n sì ṣe bàbá burúkú wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ̀dàlẹ̀ bàbá tí fìyà jọmọ káwọn náà bá gbádá rẹ̀ kàn ó tì wá síwájú bàbá lọ bàbá nílọ káwọn bá gbádá rẹ̀ kàn ní ká nìṣó níbẹ̀ bàbá lọ bàbá nílọ bá wọn gẹ́gẹ́ ò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ torí táwọn bàbá àkànnà ń bẹ tó ń gbà ń bẹ àwọn oníṣẹ́ jù bá ń lọ bọ̀ táwọn bá jẹ́ bàbá dáadáa tí wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ fi àtúbọ̀tán rí lẹ̀ fáwọn ọmọ wọn kọ̀ ẹ̀ kí wọ́n gbàbọ̀dẹ̀ fún Yorùbá ọ̀ ẹ̀ kí wọ́n pè wá ká bọ́ta ní káwọn dẹ̀ dúró tì wá pé ó yẹ nìṣó níbẹ̀.
mo kí gbogbo wa níbi tí ẹ bá ti ń láǹfààní àti ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ ti ń wò wá mo kí gbogbo lé pé a tún kábọ̀ sórí ètò wa ní bí a ti ṣe ń ṣe the self-determination movement and campaign bọ́ká tó tẹ̀síwájú nínú ètò ti èní ẹ jẹ́ ká bring in up to date of some of the development lórí àwọn èyí tó ń lọ nípa bàbá wa Olóyè Ìgbòho àti Ìbà Gani Adams. I have some development that I want to share with us, and then from then on, we will move straight to the next conversation. I say very good afternoon and welcome to Yoruba Nation campaign. This platform, ó dúró lórí campaign fún òmìnira Yorùbá tí gbogbo wa ń polongo ẹ̀ lábẹ́ bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè. Bí gbogbo wa ti ṣe mọ̀ pé Yorùbá Nation òun náà ni ọ̀nà àbáyọ àmọ́ látara Yorùbá Nation oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀sùn àti oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ni wọ́n ti fi kan bàbá wa Ìgbòho ṣá. Gbogbo wa náà láti gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ kò ń ṣe tí a ṣe máa fà lẹ́ pọ̀ bí pọ̀ mọ́ nítorí pé gbogbo wa náà la mọ̀ pé ó ní ọ́díò kan tó jáde tí gbogbo wa ti gbọ́. Látara ọ́díò náà àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ kan lọ ní background kó tó di pé àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n bá wa dá sí tí a dẹ̀ gbọ́. Àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní kò dá kí àwọn méjì máa bára wọn jà tó jẹ́ àwọn akíkanjú nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. But let us first say this, ìyẹn wá mí pé nítorí ẹ̀ kí àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ fún ọjọ́ iwájú kó má bàa wá símúṣẹ. Mo á fi dá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá látara pé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tó ti lọ lẹ́yìn òun ni mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí díẹ̀ ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú nínú prógráàmù ti tọ̀sán yìí. Ẹ bá wa fìdílé nǹkan gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa nítorí pé ọ̀rọ̀ ń bẹ díẹ̀ tá kò máa sọ lórí ẹ̀. It's a document tí ó jáde lénìí ìní a máa jẹ́ ọjọ́ kẹta inú oṣù kẹrin ọdún 2024. Mo kí ọmọdé, mo kí àgbàlagbà, mo kí arúgbó, mo kí Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, the leader of the Yoruba self-determination. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko. As a spokesman fún bàbá wa Olóyè Ìgbòho, this was sent to me by the back end team, and I have the privilege that we can share it and discuss the content with every sons and daughters of Yorubas. So before ká farabalẹ̀, then after this we will move straight into the conversation. Kí ni nǹkan tí ẹ̀ ń wò níwájú yìí? Òun ni ó sọ pé ní ìlú Ọ̀yọ́, in the High Court of Oyo State, with a suit number court I-406/2024. Fọ́ọ̀mù yìí là ń pè ní General Form of Writ of Summon in the High Court of Oyo State in Ibadan Division, holding at Ibadan, between Chief Sunday Adeyemo, aka Igbowosha, the claimant, and Iba Abiodun Ige Adams, Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, defendant. And it goes like this. To Iba Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land of Oodua House, 14 Ezekiel Street, off Toyin Street, Ikeja, Lagos State of Nigeria. You are hereby commanded that within 30 days after the service of this writ, on you, inclusive of the day of such service, you do cause an appearance to be entered for you in an action at the suit of Chief Sunday Adeyemo, aka Igbowosha, and take notice that in default of your so doing, the claimant may proceed therein, and judgment may be given in your absence. Today being the 3rd day of the month of April 2024, Registrar, Oyo State High Court of Justice, Ring Road, Ìlú Ìbàdàn. Let's read a little bit further. Memorandum to be subscribed on the writ. NB, the writ is to be served within 6 calendar months from the date thereof, or if renewed, within 3 calendar months from the date of the last renewal, including the day of such date, and not afterward. The defendant may enter appearance personally or by legal practitioner, either by handling in appropriate forms duly completed at the registry of the High Court of the Judicial Division in which the action is brought, or by sending them to the registry by register post. Endorsement to be made on the writ before issue thereof. Number 1, declaration that the content of an audio clip between the defendant and a third party named Nuru Banjo that took place sometime in November 2021 and further published on all new media platforms, including the YouTube, is scandalous, libellous, and defamatory. Once again, please let us sit back as we go straight into this conversation today. Enile Konsini, the 4th April 2024, and this is between Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igbowosha, claimant, and Iba Abiodun Ige Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, defendant, in an High Court of Oyo State in Ibadan Judicial Division, holding at Ibadan, with a suit number, court number I/406/2024, This is a form, general form of the writ of summon. Let's go further. Number 2, declaration that it is unlawful, inappropriate, and inexcusable for defendant to defame, disparage, and to put disrepute the character and the reputation of the claimant in an audio clip published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, in publication that took place between disparage and to put dispute the character and reputation of the claimant in an audio clip published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, in publication that took place between defendant and a third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, sometime in November 2021 or thereabouts. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to publicly retract the slanderous, libelous, and defamatory content contained in the publication of Nuru Banjo, which was further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, where the claimant was defamed, marginalized, and disparaged by the defendant in the conversation published in November 2021 by the defendant. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to engage all new media platforms, including YouTube, to take down the slanderous, libelous, and defamatory content against the claimant as said by the defendant to a third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, from their various new media platforms. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to tender unreserved apology to the claimant in 5 national newspapers in Nigeria over defamatory content against the claimant by the defendant, which has been published on all new media platforms, including YouTube. An order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendant, his agent, privileged or assigned from further scandalizing, assaulting, embarrassing, degrading, or defaming the person of the claimant. An order of this honorable court for the payment of extraordinary and aggravated damages in the sum of 500 million naira in favor of the claimant for defamation of the person of the claimant by the defendant. Cost of litigation put at the sum of 10 million naira. This writ was issued by J.A. Sanusi ESQ, whose address for service is Junaid A. Sanusi and Co., first floor, Premium House, Annex Magazine Road, Jericho, Ibadan. Agent for Junaid A. Sanusi and Co. of above address, legal practitioner for the said claimant, who reside at the Morrissey Street, Soka, off Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibadan, Oyo State. Endorsement to be made on copy of writ or forthwith after service. Let's go further. This came from the High Court of Justice, Oyo State of Nigeria in Ibadan Judicial Division, holding today the 3rd of April 2024, between Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho claimant and Iba Abiodun Ige Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, defendant. Statement of claim. The claimant is a Nigerian citizen and a businessman who is into real estate and auto businesses in Nigeria and diaspora. The claimant is residing in Nigeria and is the managing director of Adesun International Concept Limited, a company incorporated in Nigeria to carry on lawful businesses. The company's incorporation particulars are hereby pleaded to be relayed on at trial. The defendant is Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land. He resides in Ikeja, Lagos State of Nigeria. The claimant was born in the 1970s and he lived his early life in Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria until sometime around 2002 or thereabout, when he relocated to Ibadan, Oyo State of Nigeria. The claimant is a law-abiding citizen who was at the time a motorcycle engineer and repairer when he lived at Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria. The claimant avails that he started doing business of car dealership under the name and style of Adesun Concept Enterprise sometime in 2003 until when he, with other directors, incorporated Adesun International Concept Limited sometime in 2010, and it is through this company that the claimant has been carrying out legitimate businesses in real estate and auto dealership. The claimant avails that he fully relocated to Ibadan from Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria in the year 2002, and it was at this time he developed interest in politics, and he later pitched his tent with Senator Rasheed Adeolu Ladoja, who gave him the franchise of supplying of campaign vehicles and any other form of vehicles needed for politics for Senator Rasheed Adeolu Ladoja. The claimant avails that his business of auto dealership boomed after joining Senator Rasheed Adeolu Ladoja, and at the time, the claimant was being mentored to contest election in Oyo State to represent his people. The claimant avails that there was no time he worked as an assassin for President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or any other political exposed person both in Nigeria and outside the shores of Nigeria. The claimant avails that the only time he does outside his legitimate business of selling cars and real estate business is human rights activism against oppressors and criminals, invaders in self-defense of his ancestral land, and this was never done in secret, but to the glare of all and sundry. The claimant avails that he did not cause the death of anyone, he did not kill anyone, and specifically, he never met late Chibola Ige, SAN, and would not have murdered him. The claimant avails also that he did not commit any murder, where people who are close to him were later charged to court. 4. Stood trial. 4. Or standing trial. 4. The claimant avails that he did not defraud anyone in diaspora in the disguise of asking for freedom of his race from invaders. The claimant also availed that he did not receive the sum of 45 million naira from anyone or one Tayo Ayinde, the chief of staff to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for the purpose of coordinating any attack or assassination of anyone purportedly on instruction of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, or any other person. The claimant states further that he has been doing legitimate business both in Nigeria and abroad since sometime around 2002 when he started auto dealership business, and to this end has visited many countries all over the world. Copies of visa, stamp, passport are hereby pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant states that sometime in February 2024, when he visited Nigeria for the burial of his late mother, he slumbered on an audio clip from the defendant, and the same audio clip was downloaded on YouTube while the claimant was in Ibadan, Oyo State of Nigeria, in the presence of Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale and Bamidele Sunday. The said audio clip is hereby pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avails that the said audio clip downloaded in Ibadan by the claimant in the presence of Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale and Bamidele Sunday was a conversation between the defendant and one other person, Mr. Nuru Banjo, wherein the claimant was defamed and defamatory remarks published to the third party. Mr. Nuru Banjo was partook in the conversation which was later further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube. The claimant avails that the content of the audio clip considered to be highly libellous was originally in Yoruba language, which we translated to English language in the manner below, and the relevant party goes thus. I am not against Igboho until he came close to Tinubu. You know, I get my information from different angles as the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land. He was with the Lagos State Governor Chief of Staff, Tayo Ayinde, yesterday from the information at my disposal. He left Tayo Ayinde around 2:45 a.m. You know Tinubu uses him, Tayo Ayinde, to coordinate criminal activities. He was compensated with the position of chief of staff. He was the former SSS product. He was given money to recruit some criminals, politicians, use him, Sunday Igboho, to attack people. Tinubu will not show himself. He will call to the line of chief of staff. Tinubu gave them 50 million, but Tayo Ayinde took 5 million out of the money. He gave Sunday 45 million naira. Do not believe him. He said Tinubu should come and be the president. I do not know why people in the diaspora believe him, Sunday Igboho. Do not believe him at all. He collect money everywhere as a politician. He's cunning and a fraud. He only use social media to bring support to himself. Sunday asks the media to lie against me. He support me openly and goes against behind me, my back. Do not support him. Do not support him. He only used social media to bring support to himself. Sunday asks the media to lie against me. He support me openly and goes against behind me, my back. Do not support him. He is unreliable. Tinubu already promised to give him a house in Lekki and a 200 million naira. He is only an entertainer. Tinubu was using Sunday to get from Buhari. Tinubu is the one using Sunday. He is the most dangerous person in Oyo State. I am not talking of Lagos. If he sees money, there is no one he cannot kill. From confirmed report, even though I am not sure he was one of those who assassinated Bola Ige together with Frayo. He left Lagos 2:45 a.m. after he collected 45 million naira. Tinubu asked 10 million boys to join forces with Sunday to eliminate me. Sunday has countless murder cases where he was able to exonerate himself. Some of his boys are presently in prison, standing trial for different murder cases. Some of his boys were already sentenced to life imprisonment. He used political power to exonerate himself. The claimant avails that the above audio clip was indeed published to the person the defendant was having a conversation with. The said publication to a third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, was further published to all new media platforms, including YouTube. It is further availed by the claimant that when he saw the damage caused by the publication of the defamatory remark the defendant made to the third party, which was put online, the claimant calls his solicitor, J.A. Sanusi of counsel, to write the defendant to retract the statement, apologize for the wrong done, compensate the claimant in the letter from the claimant solicitor dated 18th of March 2024 and deliver via DHL. The letter of the 18th of March 2024 together with DHL waybill are pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avails that instead of the defendant to be remorseful for his act of defamation against the claimant, the aid of the defendant, one Chief Daudu Asikolaye, the Bare Jiroro of Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, admitted that the defendant has not hidden what he called the truth, and all that was said in that conversation audio clip was actually justified, and as such, there will not be basis to deny same. The response of the aide to the defendant in another YouTube clip is pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avails that the libellous publication of the defendant and later confirmation by the aide of the defendant has negatively affected the reputation of the claimant to the extent that all business associated of the claimant now find it difficult to do business with the claimant. The claimant avails also that the audio clip credited to the defendant has negatively affected third parties' assessment of the claimant's reason, being that the claimant, who was considered a passionate activist, is now being seen as a mere fraud and a murderer. The claimant avails that 3 of his business associates cut ties with him as a result of the audio clip credited to the defendant, as a result hold him in the low esteem to the extent of not trusting him with business or any movement capable of advancing the cause of Yoruba race or Southwest Nigeria. The claimant avails that Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale informed him that one of the claimant business associates named JP Motors specifically told him through WhatsApp chat that he will no longer do business with the claimant because of the libellous publication by the defendant to Nuru Banjo, which was published on all new media platforms. The charge between Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale is hereby pleaded to be relayed on a trial, and a certificate of compliance with Section 84 of Evidence Act is equally pleaded to be relayed at the trial. The claimant avails that his publication is badly damaged even amongst the Yorubas of Nigeria, who once held him in his high esteem until the defendant confidently said the claimant killed anyone for money. It was rumored to be involved in the murder of late Chief Bola Ige, who many saw as the father of Yorubas. Lastly, the claimant avails that the libellous content of the defendant to a third party about the claimant were defamatory. The defamatory content refers to the claimant, and same content was published to a third party, and it later found its way to the internet, including YouTube online platform. The publication of this defamatory content did not only affect the claimant psychologically, but has also negatively affected the children of the claimant who live abroad and whose father is now being seen as a murderer, fraud, or low life by people who had believed the content of the clip published by the defendant to a third party, which later find its way to the internet. The claimant also avers that on 2 occasions, his first child called Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale to ask if what the defendant said about his father was true, to which they said Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale said no, and equally informed him that his father had asked him to inform a solicitor to write the defendant the letter of 18th of March 2024, which was poorly responded to by the defendant through his solicitors, where claimant claim was admitted, except the claim that the audio was concocted, disjointed, part of a private conversation, despite proper admission of the defendant's aide, who had earlier come out to confirm the defamatory content being complained about by the claimant. The defendant solicitor responded date the 21st of March 2024, but received by the claimant solicitor on the 3rd of April 2024 is hereby pleaded to be relayed on the trial. The claimant avers further that the audio clip being relayed on by the claimant in proof of his claim of slander, libel, and defamation is neither a concocted clip nor disjointed part of any private conversation between the defendant and the third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, and as such, the defendant is hereby given notice to produce the audio clip of the conversation between him and Mr. Nuru Banjo that was neither concocted nor disjointed if such clip exists. The claimant avers that by reason of the premises that the claimant has been injured in his credit and reputation and has been brought into public scandal, odium, and contempt, the claimant avers that all the reliefs being sought by him as a consequence of the action of the defendant is justified and will be capable of improving the reputation of the claimant that has been badly damaged as a result of the publicity by the defendant. Whereof the claimant seeks the relief as follows: declaration that the content of an audio clip between the defendant and a third party named Nuru Banjo that took place sometime in November 2021 and further published on all new media platforms including YouTube is slanderous, libellous, and defamatory. Declaration that is unlawful, inappropriate, inexcusable for the defendant to defame, disparage, and put to disrepute the character and the reputation of the claimant in an audio clip between the defendant and Nuru Banjo, which was further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, in publication that originally took place between the defendant and the third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, sometime November 2021 or thereabout. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to publicly retract the slanderous, libellous, and defamatory content contained in the publication to Nuru Banjo, which was further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, where the claimant was defamed, marginalized, disparaged by the defendant in the conversation published in November 2021 by the defendant. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to engage all new media platforms, including YouTube, to take down the slanderous, libelous, defamatory content against the claimant, as said by the defendant to a third party, Mr. Nurubanjo, from their various new media platforms. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to tender unreserved apology to the claimant in 5 national newspapers in Nigeria over defamatory content against the claimant by the defendant, which has been published on all new media platforms, including YouTube. An order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendant, his agent, previous or assigned from further scandalizing, assaulting, embarrassing, degrading, defaming the person of the claimant. An order of this honorable court for the payment of exemplarily aggravated damages to the sum of 500 million naira in favor of the claimant for the defamation of person of the claimant by the defendant. Cost of litigation is put at 10 million naira. Today's date, 3rd April 2024. J.A. Sanusi ESQ, Junaid A. Sanusi and Co., the claimant solicitor. First floor, Premium House, Annex Magazine Road, Jericho, Ibadan, 08055364538. Stamp, Oyo State High Court of Justice, Ring Road, Ibadan. For the service on the defendant, Odua House, 14, Ezekiel Street off Toyin Street, Ikeja, Lagos State of Nigeria. This is between Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, claimant, and Iba Abiodun Ige Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land defendant. Witness written statement on oath of Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale. I, Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale, adult, male, Muslim, businessman and Nigeria of Mosorire Street, Soka, off Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Oyo State of Nigeria, do hereby make an oath and state as follows: that I am the director at the claimant company Adiosun International Concept Limited and also a personal assistant to the claimant. That the claimant is presently out of Nigeria and may not be available fully in course of his trial. That I have first-hand information and knowledge regarding the subject of this litigation. I have the consent of the claimant to give evidence regarding the subject of litigation. That the claimant is a Nigerian citizen and a businessman who is into real estate and auto business in Nigeria and in diaspora. That the claimant is a resident in Nigeria and is the managing director of the Adiosun International Concept Limited, a company incorporated in Nigeria to carry on lawful businesses. The company's incorporation particulars shall be tendered at trial. That the defendant is the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land and he resides in Ikeja, Lagos State of Nigeria. That the claimant was born in 1970. He lived his early life in Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria until sometime around 2002 or thereabout when he relocated to Ibadan, Oyo State of Nigeria. And during this period, I was also in Modakeke with the claimant. That the claimant is a law-abiding citizen who was at the time a motorcycle engineer and repairer when he lived at Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria. And I know this period because I stayed with him. That the claimant started doing business of car dealership under the name and style of Adesun Concept Enterprise sometime in 2003 until when he, with me as a co-director, incorporated Adesun International Concept Limited sometime in 2010. And it is through this company that the claimant has been carrying out legitimate businesses in real estate and auto dealership. That the claimant fully relocated to Ibadan from Modakeke, Osun State of Nigeria, together with myself in the year 2002. And it was at this time he developed interest in politics and he later pitched his tent with Senator Rasheed Adewolu Ladoja, who gave him the franchise of supplying of campaign vehicles and any other form of vehicles needed to politics to Senator Rasheed Adewolu Ladoja at his party at the time. That the claimant business of auto dealership boomed after joining Senator Rasheed Adewolu Ladoja, and at the time the claimant was being mentored to contest election in Oyo State to represent his people. That there was no time the claimant worked as an assassin for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or any other political exposed person both in Nigeria and outside the shores of Nigeria. That the only time the claimant does outside his legitimate business of selling cars and real estate business is human rights activism against oppressors, criminals, invaders in self-style of his ancestral land, and this was never done in secret, but to the glare of all and sundry. That I know as a fact that the claimant did not cause the death of anyone. He did not kill anyone. Specifically, he never met late Chief Bola Ige and would not have murdered him or caused his death. That the claimant did not commit any murder, where people who are close to him were later charged to court for stood trial for or stand trial for. That the claimant did not defraud anyone in diaspora in the guise of asking for freedom of his race from invaders. That the claimant did not receive the sum of 45 million naira from anyone or one Tayo Anyide, the chief of staff to Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for the purpose of coordinating any attack or assassination of anyone purportedly on instruction of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, or any other person. That the claimant has been doing legitimate business both in Nigeria and abroad since sometime around 2002, where he started auto dealership businesses, and to this end has visited many countries all over the world. Copies of visa, stamp, passport of the claimant shall be tendered at trial, as I have always traveling with the claimant most of this time as his trusted aide. That sometime in February 2024, when the claimant visited Nigeria for the burial of his late mother, he stumbled on an audio clip from the defendant, and the same audio clip was downloaded on YouTube by the claimant while in Ibadan, Oyo State of Nigeria. In my presence and that of Bamidele Sunday, the said audio clip shall be tendered at trial. That the said audio clip downloaded in Ibadan by the claimant in my presence and that of Bamidele Sunday was a conversation between the defendant and one of the person, Mr. Nuru Banjo, wherein the claimant was defamed and the defamatory remarks published to the third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, who partook in the conversation which was later further published on all new media platforms, including YouTube. The content of the audio clip, considered to be highly libellous, was originally in Yoruba language, which has been translated to English language in the manner below, and relevant part goes to. I am not against Igboho until it became close to Tinubu. You know, I get my information from different angles as Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land. He was with Lagos State Governor Chief of Staff Tayo Anyide yesterday night. From the information at my disposal, he left Tayo Anyide around 2:45 a.m. And you know Tinubu uses him, Tayo Anyide, to coordinate criminal activities. He was compensated with the position of the Chief of Staff. He was the former SSS product. He was given money to recruit some criminals. Politicians use him, Sunday Igboho, to attack people. Tinubu will not show himself. He will call to the line of Chief Tayo, Chief of Staff. Tinubu gave them 50 million naira. But Tayo Anyide took 5 million naira out of the money. He gave Sunday 45 million naira. Do not believe him. He said Tinubu should come and be the president. I do not know why people in the diaspora believe him, Sunday Igboho. Do not believe him at all. He collects money everywhere as a politician. He is cunning and a fraud. He only uses social media to bring support to himself. Sunday asked the media to lie against me. He supports me openly and goes against me behind my back. Do not support him. He is unreliable. Tinubu already promised to give him a house in Lekki and a 200 million naira. He is only an entertainer. Tinubu was using Sunday to get ticket from Buhari. Tinubu is the one using Sunday. He is the most dangerous person in Oyo State. I am not talking of Lagos. If he sees money, there is no one he cannot kill. From confirmed report, even though I am not sure, he was one of those who assassinated Bola Ige together with Frayo. He left Lagos around 2:45 a.m. after he collected 45 million naira. Tinubu asked 10 million boys to join forces with Sunday to eliminate me. Sunday has countless murder cases where he was able to exonerate himself. Some of his boys are presently in prison, standing trial for different murder cases. Some of his boys were already sentenced to life imprisonment. He used political power to exonerate himself. That the above audio clip was indeed published to the person of the defendant was having a conversation with Nuru Adebanjo. The said publication to the third party, Mr. Nuru Banjo, was further published to all new media platforms, including YouTube. That when the claimant saw the damage caused by the publication of the defamatory remark the defendant made to a third party, which was further put online, the claimant sent me to inform his solicitor, J.A. Sanusi of Counsel, to write the defendant to retract the statement, apologize for the wrong done, compensate the claimant in the letter from his solicitor dated 18th of March 2024, delivered by DHL. The letter of the 18th of March 2024 together with DHL well bill shall be relied on at the trial. That instead of the defendant to be remorseful for his act of defamation against the claimant, the aid of the defendant, one Chief Daudu Asikolaye, the Bare Ejiroro of Are Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, admitted that the defendant has nothing hidden, what he called the truth, and all that was said in that conversation audio clip was actually justified, and as such, there will be no basis to deny same. The response of the aide to the defendant in another YouTube clip where he adopted the defendant defamation of the claimant character shall be relied on at the trial, as I equally downloaded the video clip and I burned it into a flash drive. That the libellous publication of the defendant and later confirmation by the aide to defendant has negatively affected the reputation of my principal to the extent that all business associates of my principal now finds it difficult to do business with him. That the audio clip credited to the defendant has negatively affected third parties' assessment of the claimant, reason being that the claimant, who was considered a passionate activist, is now being seen as a mere fraud and a murderer by the members of the public. That the three of the claimant business associates cut ties with him as a result of the audio clip credited to the defendant, and as a result, hold him in low esteem to the extent of not trusting him with business or any movement capable of advancing the cause of Yoruba race of Southwest Nigeria. That out of the three business associates of the claimant who cut ties with the claimant, two of them personally informed me that they had to stop dealing with my principal because of what the defendant told Mr. Nuru Banjo, which later found its way to the internet. That one of the claimant business associates, who we fondly refer to as JP Motors, engaged me by WhatsApp message to inform me that it would no longer do business with the claimant because of the slanderous, libellous publication against him to Nuru Banjo by the defendant, which was further published on all new media platforms. The chat between me and JP Motors shall be tendered at the trial together with certificate of compliance with Section 84 of the Evidence Act, which shall equally be tendered at the trial. That the claimant's reputation is badly damaged, even amongst the Yorubas of Nigeria, who once held him high in esteem until the defendant confidently said the claimant can kill anyone for money. It was rumored to be involved in the murder of late Chief Ige SAN, who many saw as the father figure of the Yorubas. That the slanderous, libellous content of the defendant to a third party, Nuru Banjo, about the claimant were defamatory. The defamatory content referred to the claimant, and the same content was published to a third party, Nuru Banjo, and he later found his way to the internet, including YouTube online platform. That the publication of this defamatory content did not only affect the claimant psychologically, but has also negatively affected the children of the claimant who live abroad and whose father is now being seen as a murderer, fraud, or low life by people of, instead of a human rights activist he was known as, since the people believe the content of the clip published by the defendant to the third party, which later find his way to the internet. That on two occasions, the first child of the claimant called me to ask if what the defendant said about his father was true, to which I said no, and equally informed him that his father had asked me to inform his solicitor to write the defendant the letter of the 18th of March 2024, which was poorly responded to by the defendant through his solicitor, where claimant claim was admitted, except the claim the audio clip was a concocted and disjointed part of a private conversation, despite proper admission of the defendant aide, who had earlier come out to confirm the defamatory content being complained about the claimant. The defendant solicitor respond date the 21st of March 2024, but received by the claimant solicitor on the 3rd of April 2024 shall be tendered at the trial. That the audio clip being relied on by the claimant in proof of his claim of slander, libel, defamation is neither a concocted clip nor disjointed part of any private conversation between the defendant and the third party, Mr. Nurubanjo. The defendant is hereby noticed to produce the audio clip of the conversation between him and Mr. Nurubanjo that was neither concocted nor disjointed, if such clip exists. That by the reason of the premises, the claimant has been injured in his credit and reputation and has been brought into public scandal, odium, and contempt. That all the relief being sought by him as a consequence of the action of the defendant is justified and will be capable of improving the reputation of the claimant that has been badly damaged as a result of the publicity by the defendant. That the claimant seeks the following relief. Number one, declaration that the content of an audio clip between the defendant and the third party named Nurubanjo that took place sometime in November 2021 and further published on all new media platforms including YouTube is slanderous, libelous, and defamatory. Declaration that is unlawful, inappropriate, inexcusable for the defendant to defame, disparage, and to put disrepute the character and the reputation of the claimant in an audio clip between the defendant and Nurubanjo, which was further published on all new media platforms including YouTube in a publication that originally took place between the defendant and the third party, Mr. Nurubanjo, sometime November 2021 or thereabout. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to publicly retract the slanderous, libelous, defamatory content contained in the publication to Nurubanjo, which was published on all new media platforms, including YouTube, where the claimant was defamed, maligned, disparaged by the defendant in the conversation published in November 2021 by the defendant. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to engage all new media platforms, including YouTube, to take down the slanderous, libelous, and defamatory content against the claimant as said by the defendant to the third party, Mr. Nurubanjo, from their various new media platforms. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to tender unreserved apology to the claimant in 5 national newspapers in Nigeria over defamatory content against the claimant by the defendant, which has been published on all new media platforms, including YouTube. An order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendant, his agent, privies, or assigns from further scandalizing, assaulting, embarrassing, degrading, or defaming the person of the claimant. An order of this honorable court for the payment of exemplary and aggravated damages of 500 million naira in favor of the claimant for the defamation of person of the claimant by the defendant. Cost of litigation put at a sum of 10 million naira. That this witness written statement on oath is deposed to in good faith, believing the content to be true and in accordance with the oath law of Oyo State, signed, deponent, sworn to the High Court Registry in Ibadan, 3rd day of April 2024, before me, the Commissioner for Oath, stamp, Oyo State High Court of Justice, Ring Road, Ibadan. List of witnesses to be called for trial: Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale. Number 2, any other witnesses for service of dependent Odua House, 14 Ezekiel Street, off Toyin, Ikeja, Lagos State, Nigeria, between Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igbowosha, the claimant, and Iba Abiodun Ige Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, the defendant. List and copies of documents to be relied on the trial. Number 1, incorporation particulars of Adesun Concept International Limited. Number 2, the claimant visa stamp passport. Number 3, audio clip between the defendant and Mr. Nurubanjo, not document. Number 4, claimant solicitor's letter dated 18th of March 2024. Number 5, defendant solicitor's letter dated 21st of March 2024. YouTube video clip of Chief Dauda and Asikulaye, not document. WhatsApp conversation between Oladipupo Mutiu Olawale and JP Motors. Certificate of compliance with Section 84 of the Evidence Act. Any other relevant document, date 3rd April 2024. Stamp, Oyo State Court of Justice, Ring Road, Ibadan. J.A. Sanusi ESQ, Junaid A. Sanusi and Co., the Clement Solicitor, First Floor, Premium House, Annex, Magazine, Road, Jericho, Ibadan. For service on the defendant, Odua House, 14 Ezekiel Street, off Toyin Street, Ikeja, Lagos State, Nigeria. So this is the update that is coming out today. And as I, OLAYOMI Koiki, the spokesman for Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, says that this has now been sent to Iba Gani Adams, and we'll be giving much update as we go into what is going to be coming after that. And on that note, we will move straight to our next conversation, which is the Yoruba nation struggle as we have it today. We'll take a short break and we'll come back in a minute.
Nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bó mo pera mi padà ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣẹ wọn àwọn ará pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àgbà tó bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ rìn wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ má jẹ́ àdàlúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ̀n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ́n fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá big man ni mi àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pẹ́sọ́wọ́ lè mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí Fúlàní mọ́ da mi dúró títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lóńdò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wá lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
àwọn kan jẹ́ àwọn ọmọ wa tí wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ dáadáa lọ́wọ́ tó jẹ́ pé inú wa sì dùn wípé Ọlọ́run bùkún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọ́n ti bá ọkàn wọn dá májẹ̀mú wípé ní agbára Ọlọ́run by 2000 AD òmìnira máa dé fúnlẹ̀ káàrọ̀ òmìnira. èmi sì mọ̀ dájú wípé Ọlọ́run Oòduà Ọlọ́run Ọ̀rànmíyàn Ọlọ́run Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ Ọlọ́run Adékúnlé Ajáṣin amúwadé ilẹ̀ tuntun náà níbi tí ẹ̀gbin ìyà àti ìrẹ́jẹ kò ní sí fún ọmọ káàárọ̀ òjìlé mọ́. tàbá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ilẹ̀ ìlérí tí a fẹ́ lọ yìí àwọn tí ọ̀rọ̀ òye wọ́n máa kù bí egbére. lójú àwọn egbére tí mò ń wí ó dàbí ẹni pé ohun ẹ̀yẹ ni kí ènìyàn máa wà nú ẹ̀gbin nú ìyà nú ìrẹ́jẹ. a bá sì fojú wo kì í ṣe àwa Yorùbá nìkan ni ìyà ń jẹ ní Nàìjíríà bí Yorùbá ti bọ̀ wọ́n ní àrùn tó ń ṣe ojì náà ló ń ṣọ̀ọ́dún ohun tó ń ṣe Abọ́yadé ń kọ́ o ìyà tó ń jẹ Ṣógbẹ̀yìn l'Abẹ́òkúta ń kọ́ òun náà ló ń jẹ Súlè ní Kòńtàgó. èmi tó bá ń pa bàbá múlò ní Adó-Èkìtì ń kọ́ tí ó yàtọ̀ sí èyí tó ń pa Ìkejì ní Abakaliki. nígbà tí mo sọ èkejì ní ìsìn wá rántí tí wọ́n láyé ló jẹ́ kí rántí o nígbà tí a wà ní Òbúgà ẹ̀yin náà àti gbọ́ olóyè Akíntọ́lá ló ń pe Ọ̀gá ní Òbúgà ó wá polongo ẹgbẹ́ NNDP lẹ́sà òkè ló ń bí ọjà wa ẹ̀kẹ́ tó bá ti kọjá ẹ̀sà wípé ẹ̀ lọ sókè lẹ́sìn. Ilé àwọn Ìkejìkúlù. Ìjẹ́bọ̀ àwọn aláìsí action group àti NCNC àwọn àdí ọgbà àgbà yẹn ló bá kúkú mú ìgè àti ìtúkú ló bá pa ọ̀pọ̀. Mi mọ̀ bóyá Bọ́lájí wà ní tí Bọ́lájí bá wà ní kó gbọ́ ilé yìí o torí tó bá di ọ̀rẹ́ mi á sọ fún ẹ. Tí Akíntọ́lá ó lọ sí òde. Ló wá ní wọ́n máa sọ men of integrity bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn kan wà ní tí wọ́n integrity o.
And we come into the conversation. We start with the interview through Omoyele Sowore. I had the privilege to have a chat with him. Just to say thank you so much for reminding us. Moki gbogbo ale nkan say, let's come back to the conversation now. The struggle continue, and there will be no distraction because we have a lot to cover. Baba wa Olóyè Igboho, ẹ jẹ́ ká continue program wa. Mo kí bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, orúkọ mi náà ni Ọláyọmí Koiki tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí KOIKIMEDIA. Mo ní mo láǹfààní àti bá Sowore sọ̀rọ̀ after tí mo wo interview tí a bá pàdé. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ mú interview yẹn wá ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú. Ẹ má bínú mọ̀ nílé máa dárúkọ gbogbo yín, and we are not reading the comments so far, but we are back on track where we started from yesterday. This is a platform that will be the last man standing on this movement without going back. And I appreciate Sowore. The interview is a courtesy of Channels Television that owns the copyright. Let's start with that, and then we go into the program.
Today, in an event attended by some African leaders, including our president,
Bola Tinubu, is Senegal's youngest president after.
Hey, sorry for interrupting your video. I'm going to take
round victory on a pledge of radical reforms 10 days after he was released from prison. The 44-year-old has never before held any political or elected office, for several African leaders attended the ceremony in the new town of the Aniado. But what lesson does this have on African politics and leadership? Let's get some perspectives on the lessons for Nigeria's politics, political participation, especially for young persons. So it doesn't mean that Mr. Faye just started yesterday. He must have been thinking about having a vision and a dream of wanting to become the leader of that country. Now, he has it on his hands now. Let's speak to a former presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, who joins us live from New Jersey in the United States. Thank you so much, Sowore, for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you for bringing me.
And I guess you are really acclimatizing and getting to be with your family properly. You've been away from them for quite a while, isn't it?
Yes, it's been 5 years I've been away from my wife and kids. So yes, acclimatizing, yes, but getting used to cold, a challenge.
You can't eat your cake and have it. You said you'll be coming back to Nigeria, that the struggle continues in some of the video that I saw that surfaced online. So you enjoy the good temperature here, or you keep up with the cold there in New Jersey. You pick one. But thank you so much, Sowore, for joining us today. Let's talk about Mr. Faye, who has now become Senegal.
Mo fẹ́ ká farabalẹ̀ ká máa bá ntí Sowore fẹ́ gbé jáde níbí báyìí. What I want us to focus on from this clip and this interview is to say to the Yoruba people and to say to Nigerians around the world that nothing can come out of Nigeria. So if you're expecting what has transpired from Senegal, which some of us are very happy because it shows that Africa is getting back to where it's meant to be. But the Yoruba needs to come out as well as a country so that we can then be part of the Africa Union and the Africa that would transform the lives of people. But if we sit back and think that we will be able to defeat the criminal politicians, that we will be able to take them back by becoming the next you to be the president, whether in 2027, 2031, 2030, 32, 33, 34, 35, 2035, and so on and so forth. We will be living in a denial. Tí ọmọ Yorùbá kan bá rò pé ó máa rí bí Nàìjíríà ṣe rí yẹn náà, ó máa rí ọmọ 44 tó máa di president in Nigeria. You will not see that. So Sowore is trying to remind us, as much as we understand where Sowore stands, and like I said, I've been able to chat him up to say thank you so much for this great interview, because many ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́nìí, you are not yet determined. Ẹ sì fẹ́ máa ṣe boy fáwọn politicians yìí. When we become an independent Yoruba country, you could be the lára yín tẹ̀ ń wò mí nísìn àtẹ̀yìn tẹ̀ disagree pẹ̀lú wa, you might be the next prime minister of Yoruba country. You might be the next president, depending on what kind of constitution and what kind of government we're going to be using. I have explained to you that Lithuania is less than 2.8 million. Their current prime minister is just under 50 years old. Many of you refuse to vote Omoyele Sowore because ẹni bá kan ló ṣe ń gẹrun. Do you know that ẹni tó ṣe Senegal president, the new president of Senegal, how many of us know that the man has 2 beautiful wives? Nobody in Senegal has complained about that. I am sure tó bá jẹ́ pé lọ́dọ̀ tiwa nísìn, a ti máa rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn tó máa sọ pé báwo ló ṣe wá rí bẹ́ẹ̀? It's because we cannot think out of our brain. Look at the 2 beautiful wives. We are Africans. We are not English. We are not Europeans. And we will continue to be Africans. I am not here to sell 2 wives to you. But I am just saying that Bassirou Faye is now official Senegal youngest president in a country of 17 million, not up to the population of Lagos State. 10 days before he became the president, ó ṣì wà nínú prison. The question tí gbogbo láti wá béèrè lọ́wọ́ ara nísìnyí pé, are we ready to come out of the prison that Nigeria has kept each and every single Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa? Because already now there is a tug of war on the X, normally called Twitter, where we are still discussing why some say kí ló dé tí àwọn OLAYOMI is putting on this Oziegu. I love what they're putting on because it is not a federal government project. It is a private business. And whatever they like, they can wear. It is entirely up to you to travel with Virgin that is charging us almost £2,000 to go to Nigeria, or you go with OLAYOMI. And this is the reason why kí ló dé tí Baba Ogunlesi that have the same money more than OLAYOMI, which I know that. Because if we look at the net worth of Adebayo Ogunlesi, I am sure it is more than OLAYOMI, the CEO of the aircraft known as Air Peace. Why has this man not also invested in the airline that we will call the Yoruba airline, and we can have Agbada and Ashoke? But we know that this man did not invest in Nigeria because Nigeria is a shit-hole country. I talked about him in one of my programs earlier. How Adebayo Ogunlesi contract bet led to 12.5 billion black rock tie-up. We did this program about some few days ago. How we know that is value up to the company Global Infrastructure Partners that will have even built a new airport that probably will beat Lagos Muritala Mohammed Airport, but he refused to because something doesn't smell right in Nigeria. And we knew that when we were reading through his background. We knew that he set up a business before the coup in Nigeria. But what happened? Things did not go as planned because we know that The criminal military in uniform destroy most of what is owned by the indigenous people. According to the Global Infrastructure Partner, was one of the first. No, not that is what I want to read. I want to go to where they talked about when they set up something in Nigeria, Mumbai. We got to find where that is. Because this is why we are saying that this man should have given us an airline that could have taken Yoruba people and the other ethnic individuals. But today now, I can see that even Yoruba now are saying that our governors should go and set up, an airline for us. Igbayi, Lode, we say that we are not one. Many of you must accept that we are not one. I'm trying to find that area where we know that they invested in Nigeria, but the investment didn't go right because there was a coup. And that coup meant that they had to pull out of Nigeria. That was, I believe, probably around in the 80s. I don't know exactly where it is in this write-up, but we read it that day. I'm just trying to see if I can pick it up quickly. But we read it already. I'm sure some of you remember. So in terms of paper, today now, many of you are looking at Senegal, which is a good start. But I want to let's start the same thing. We are not doing revolution like Showore. We want self-determination, but that is subject to take gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá bá ready láti join movement yẹn lábẹ́ bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè. But many of Yorùbá ẹ ṣì ń fẹ́ peanut, ẹ ṣì fẹ́ máa wà lábẹ́ olóṣèlú, kẹ́ máa kó agbádá wọn, kẹ́ máa kó fìlà wọn. And this is the reason why we are still backward. But I hope that one day we will get the message. All right, we're going to leave that because it's going to hold us back. So let's go back to Showore. And I'm going to be talking about India. Why Nigeria will not be able to do any export because the country is a shito. Like I said, this is channels and that is a copyright to them.
As new president.
What is your view, first and foremost, about this transition in Senegal?
Well, it's important to mention that when Africans were yearning for independence, they actually went for very young, vibrant people. And the question we keep asking ourselves is, at what point did we lose that ability to have young people, vibrant, intelligent young people lead the African continent? And you would notice that this happened as a result of colonialism. The colonial masters weren't too comfortable with young, vibrant, radical African leaders. And that was what led to the death of Lumumba and a bunch of presidents that were kicked out of office by the collusion of local African, betrayers and these political colonial leaders all over Africa. So this is not the first time. Even in Nigeria, the first crop of leaders that came up after independence were in their 20s. The man who first moved the motion for Nigeria's independence, as late Chief Tony Enahoro, was his 20s. The Zigs of this world, Bafemi Awolowo, they weren't old people, but again, over time, we lost that opportunity to have vibrancy, and that's why you see Africa the way it is today. But it's interesting that majority of the people I've seen there, swearing in, are the same old African leaders who would not allow the youth to have a chance. But there's a lesson to be learned from Senegal, that this presidential change of baton did not happen by accident. It was through serious revolutionary struggle. You can imagine someone who came from prison 10 days before and became president of Senegal. When, as a matter of fact, the man who was there didn't want to leave, and he had postponed the election very recently to an unknown date, but he was heavily...
I'm sure we all got that message. 10 days, this man, Baba Tenwoyi, Ṣọmọ Yorùbá lè jẹ́ ká prove ẹ̀ pé in the next 10 days, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 days, in the next 3 days, in the next 5 days, we can also change the course of our lives. Can we say that Atiwa nínú prison, but we want to come out of that prison, and it is possible, but that will be subject to tí gbogbo wa bá dìde together? Or do we still want to be in the cell of Nigeria and then continue to moan, continue to ask why we are still in the cell? 10 days, this man tó ti di president lẹ́ni, ó ṣì wà nínú prison. Mo kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ẹ má bínú, I will not be mentioning names because we are very, very serious. You know, when we are serious, there's so much to catch up. But we can say thank you so much to everyone, including those of you on Twitter Space and those of you on the MixLR. Ǹjẹ́ gbogbo wa lè ṣe pé in 10 days we pull out of Nigeria and then we become free for the rest of our lives? We pray as he takes the mantle of Senegal and transform it. Ẹ wo Tinubu nísìn. Do you see the Tinubu? Ẹ wo Tinubu? No. Where's the picture again? You can see Jagaban. There's nothing wrong having the old man there. But àwa tá fẹ́ freedom, ǹjẹ́ a lè make a determination pé a máa gba freedom wa within the next 10 days? Because if this man can do what he has done today by becoming the president when he was still in the prison in just less than 10 days, it shows that anything can happen. But nítorí pé a fi ẹ̀mí wa sí ìtagbédání, àwọn kan sì expect pé àwọn àgbàlagbà ló máa wá sọ ibi tá à ń lọ fún wa. Bàbá Akíntóyè ti sọ ibi tá à ń lọ, àwa ni ká wá jagbà lọ́wọ́ wọn, ká lè ṣe kí ni, ká lè free ara wa from the bondage and become free for the rest of our lives. And let's go back and hear more from Omoyele Sowore.
And that's how Senegal came about this. So everybody who is celebrating this must also understand that freedom comes out of struggle.
So, I mean, I'm more concerned about two things. I'm talking about the politics of Senegal tonight, but not dwelling on those events. We're trying to draw lessons and inspiration from what happened and perhaps what we can glean and learn from it as a people. Political participation, first and foremost. For a 44-year-old to become a president, the man has never been into any elected office before now. That is audacious. That is a lot.
I'm a pause because we need to do some kind of explanation there lẹ́yìn. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ máa ń bí wá pé Koiki tá bá gba Yorùbá nation. Koiki tá bá ti gba Yorùbá nation. Ta ló máa di president? Ta ló máa di prime minister? Ta ló máa di governor? Ṣé àwọn the same set of people ni? It just shows that we are just too myopic. Lè think. Because tó bá yẹ pa bá lè think ni, ní máa béèrè pé kí ló dé tí a ló máa jẹ president, ta ló ní jẹ president. Ó jẹ́ kí a mọ̀ pé nígbà tá bá gba Yorùbá nation, àwa la máa ṣe fúnra wa, àwa la máa wà lórí ẹ̀ tá máa determine ilé ayé wa. But many of us are waiting. We are waiting for somebody to say that kò lè possible. Ẹ ń dúró de, tí gbogbo ń dúró de, ẹ ń dúró de Bàbá Adébóyè. I don't have anything against him. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó jẹ́ Christian ẹ̀ ń dúró de Bàbá Adébóyè kó wá announce fún wa pé a máa gba Yorùbá nation. So Bàbá Adébóyè àti Professor Adébánjá Akíntóyè, what is their difference? Mo béèrè ni o, ìbéèrè ni o, eléyìí ò mú jà dání. Bàbá Akíntóyè tó ń sọ fún wa pé ká bọ́ kúrò nínú wàhálà, ká bọ́ sínú inú oko ẹrú. The question is, what do we want? It is not about whether Sowore want Nigeria. We are bringing a point out here that we just want to take. Sowore fẹ́ save Nigeria is not the issue. He knows he cannot save Nigeria, and I will not tell you what conversation that goes between me and him. N tó fẹ́ ló ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́, but àwa mọ̀ tó fẹ́ ìyẹn ò ṣe fún public consumption. But what I'm trying to explain to us is that ǹjẹ́ wa náà fẹ́ bọ́ kúrò nínú bondage tá wà nínú ẹ̀, or we want to remain inside that bondage? And if we want to remain inside that bondage, are we ready? Many of us are not ready. Àwa tá wá ready yẹn, let us hold firm. Let us hold very, very tight. I have no problem with the airpiece. Kódà tó bá wu gbogbo pilots wọn, let them put on Igbo attire. I go on the Turkish airline and I don't ask why they put on that kind of outfit. And moreover, it's not a federal government airline. It's a private business. So why are we agitating about that? They are Shokolowo. And I expect that every Yorubas to understand that it's not a private business. I mean, it's not a federal government business. Federal government promised us an airline. That airline never came to an, we only saw the plane from Ethiopia, branded Air Nigeria, and that was the end of it. Ìyẹn mo ṣe sọ pé kí ló dé táwọn olówó ọmọ Yorùbá náà táwọn náà invest in that area. So lórí airpiece kò jẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá kọ̀ọ̀kan máa wà flag up. Tó bá dẹ̀ people fẹ́ wọ airpiece láti London lọ sí Nàìjíríà, they just go on the BA ọkọ̀ lọ through Turkish airline. Mo mọ̀ yẹn kan tó ṣe lọ ní last week ẹ pé Turkish airline ló bá lọ almost about 11 hours. But that is not what we are here for. But where we are here for is that things is not going to happen as many Yoruba people expect it to happen in that shit old crazy country that is Nigeria. Things are not going to happen, whether we like it or not. Baba Akintoye ti sọ fún wa pé let us move out of Nigeria. Let us go and set up our own independent autonomous country. Have our own constitution. Be ready to propel the engine of Yoruba country. And the next thing we're going to listen to that is coming from India, you realize that if we remain in Nigeria, aloma shomo ọ̀dọ̀ ní India ni, aloma lọ sí India, kaloma shomo ọ̀dọ̀ níbẹ̀, because they are moving at the speed of sound. So we're going to just take a little bit more from Shore. I just want us to grasp a little bit of that before we move to the next conversation. You're watching a live transmission, and today, as you can see on the date there, is Wednesday, 3rd April 2024. If you have just joined us, you will just have to rewind where we gave you a full details of what transpired today from Oyo State regarding Oloyegbowo and Iba Gani Adams. Once again, my name is OLAYOMI Koiki. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. So tonight, this morning, this evening, what do you want? Tí bá ní airline tèmi, orí olókun la máa lò nínú ẹ̀. Tó bá yẹ pé mi mo ní o, orí olókun ni. As you can see there, you can see orí olókun yìí òun la máa gbé sórí ẹ̀. Tó máa shine ṣàkàṣàkà ṣokoṣoko. This is why we are saying that ẹ jẹ́ ká kúrò nínú dọ̀tí, ká kúrò níbi tí ó ní wá lára, so that we can move at the speed of sound. And as we go into the program, may the soul of this our brother, a father, that died here in UK, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis died in UK. He was a former deputy mayor, while Boris Johnson was a mayor in London. And we pray that his family, we pray for the network of friends. A very hardworking man died at 61. Tí bá sọ fún yín pé àwọn èèyàn máa ń kú níbi báyìí nísìn, ẹ máa níyàn kí n kú. Ẹ máa rò pé ríà Nàìjíríà nìkan nìyàn ti ń kú. The former deputy mayor of London, Ray Lewis, died aged 61. Ray Lewis was the deputy to the then London mayor Boris Johnson tó padà wá di prime minister kó tó di pé agbádànù tó fi resign. But he resigned in July 2008 after allegation of inappropriate behaviour and financial irregularity. That is the system that works here. But lọ́dọ̀ tiwa, it doesn't work like that. Wọ́n bá díyàn jalè ìgbà ilé ló máa lọ ra ká, ló máa pa màlúù, ló máa ṣàsun, la máa jubilate. Nígbà tí wọ́n sọ pé ó kówó jẹ financial irregularities, ó resign ní 2008. Ìyẹn wá mí pé kò ní ṣe mọ́ nínú society. He will still be engaged in the society. The former deputy mayor of London, who founded an organization which helped disadvantaged young children, which is said to have been inspired by a BBC series, has now died aged 61. May his soul rest in peace. In 2002, Mr. Lewis set up the Eastside Young Leaders Academy, a charity which sent hundreds of disadvantaged young children to elite public school. Elite public school, ó yàtọ̀ sí àwa náà ní public school ní bíbá, but àwọn school kan wà bẹ́ẹ̀ pé elite ni àwọn ọmọ olówó nìkan ló máa lọ síbẹ̀. The work of the charity is said to have inspired the creator of the BBC 3 series Borders, a comedy drama about 5 black students who want scholarship to elite private school. There's a difference between public, private, and the state school. Nigeria nísìnyí kò tẹ̀ ní kankan rárá àti state àti private. Nothing is up to standard. Why are we living in denial? Why are you going to wait until somebody come and tell you that you have to be part of a movement that wants to free the people? As I was talking about Lithuania, I came across this man again because ẹ rántí pé mo sọ fún yín pé mo ti lọ sí Turkey rí tí mo tẹ̀lé àwọn tó ń ṣe cinema whatever the biggest cinema industry in the world. It was an event. Tàbá sọ pé torí àṣẹ Yorùbá nation nísìn ẹ mọ iye táwa náà lose lójoojúmọ́ ni. So when we come out and say ẹ fún wa lówó èmi pé kákọ̀ lè máa fi fọ́ǹdì tá à ń ṣe ni gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ tèmi ṣe lélẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ gbogbo network tèmi lélẹ̀ but these are the things that we can't do because a lè ṣe kan méjì àfi tá a bá fi parọ́ fúnra wa tá a bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe kan méjì that means we will not be able to take this movement to where we want àwa fẹ́ tètè kúrò ní Nàìjíríà but ẹ̀yin kàn fẹ́ kúrò. So when I was going through a message that was sent to me through one of the the event like I said. So, ó pop up with this guy, Algis Ramaskas. He's only 53 years old, born in 1970. Country, Vilnius, Lithuania. Ó ti marry, ó lọ́mọ. Kí ló dé tá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀? Because ó ń ṣe a lot of cinemas. Òun náà ṣe owó business cinema lòun náà máa ń ṣe. Tábàdé ń sọ fún ìtẹ̀wà nílé. Lóòótọ́ aláwọn tó ń ṣe cinemas náà mo pàdé wọn nígbà yẹn ní Turkey àwọn ọmọ Ben Bruce gbogbo wọn pátápátá lájọ pàdé wọ́n kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ sá fún wa nígbà tó wá rí pé èmi ò wá láti Nàìjíríà èmi ò ṣe brown envelope London ni mò ń gbé wọ́n wá di pé kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ nígbà tí mo kọ́kọ́ introduce ara mi tọ́rọ̀ pé bí ọ̀nàdà Nigeria media kan ni later tó rí pé London èmi náà ti fly wá táwọn tó ní event tó gbé mi wá tọ́dẹ̀ ríbi ṣe ń perform nínú event yẹn as a media ló wá di pé wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí súnmọ́ mi gbogbo wọn náà la ṣe ní contact wọn but n ta gbé dání àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan wà táwa náà máa gbé sílẹ̀ so I'm not gonna go into all this mo kàn fi sọ fún pé we've talked about Lithuania a sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Lithuania yẹn dáadáa níjẹta kọlọ̀nba Fúnrúkẹ́ Ray Lewis àtàwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí ẹ̀ ilé ayé náà nìyẹn we come and go so let's close all this ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́ padà sórí Lithuania yẹn díẹ̀ again we keep telling you that tábà wà nínú Nàìjíríà irọ́ lẹ̀ ń pa ẹ̀ lè ráṣẹ yọrí ṣe nínú Nàìjíríà bó bá wù yín kẹ́ lọ sọ́dọ̀ Pastor Adébóyè kẹ́ lọ sọ́dọ̀ ìmáàmù ọ̀fà kẹ́ lọ sọ́dọ̀ bùkínì kan kẹ́ lọ sọ́dọ̀ babaláwo kò possible because Nigeria is just impediment to the Yoruba people's lives. Kí la tún fẹ́ sọ fún yín tẹ̀fẹ́ gbọ́ ìlú tó ju 2.8 million lọ dèbò ńlá fi wọ̀nyí ní bíbá I don't make this up 2.8 million gbogbo population Ogun State is 6.3 million ìlú méjì ló wà nínú Ogun State nìyẹn their GDP is about 72 billion kódà a tún lọ wo EEC wọn GDP wọn we saw it the other day this is their GDP 70 billion US dollars adẹ̀sí ń bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ India ní bíbá because ó ní kankan tí mo fẹ́ sọ máa close ti ṣòwò rẹ̀ àti gbọ́ ìtàwé ní wàá fi gbọ́ ètò kẹlẹ́ sọ́dọ̀ Chinese kẹlẹ́ gbọ́ ìtí mo fẹ́ lò mo ti lò bẹ́ẹ̀ à ń bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ broadcasting platform tí ma ti ní àwọn news tẹ́bi náà máa ń wò látọ̀dọ̀ Vantage ìyẹn Paliki Sharma ìyàwó mi tó wà ní India nìyẹn àkọ́fẹ́ra ní official dáadáa orí social media ni mo ti ń fẹ́ because I just love her presentation but àwọn ò fẹ́ support Yorùbá world media a fẹ́ kún ọwọ́ fún wọn àwọn ilé nísìn everybody ló máa lọ síbẹ̀ ló lọ wò wọ́n àwa máa lọ káàkiri èyí tí gbogbo wa máa ṣe kí ni tá a máa gbé tiwa lárugẹ tá a máa pọ́ǹpù owó síbẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá náwó sínú Yorùbá nation iná là ń pa àlọ́ sí anywhere gbogbo ẹni wọn fi sọ akọ̀ ń ṣeré ni àìtí rẹ́dì láti lọ ìjọ tá a bá ti rẹ́dì a máa náwó a máa nọ́ra gbogbo ẹni wọn fi sọ èmi ò ní sọ pé bákan ni ẹ bá lọ sí platform mi kan máa sọ fún mi pé Yorùbá nation máa èmi mọ̀ pé ọ̀nà méjì ni we come out in masses or we fight ìkànnì méjèèjì but ẹ bá sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ lọ no problem ẹ jẹ́ ká wo àti sọ ilé àti ṣe so much a bit of analysis lé lórí ànípẹ́ lórí ẹ̀ púpọ̀ lẹ́nu a tún lọ wo OEC wọn import and export kí ni wọ́n import ní Lithuania kí ni wọ́n export nǹkan tí yàn bá export ló ń sọ ìlú dolówó olòṣì ní Nàìjíríà kò export nǹkan kan ìlú òfò ni kò sí àdúrà tẹ́ lè ṣe ní fún Nàìjíríà o mo sọ pé fún orílẹ̀-èdè ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tiwantiwa tó jẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa o but whatever tó ń pè Nàìjíríà ìlú burúkú ni the money country ni ìlú tí kò fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ẹ ráyé gbé ó ti payé yín ó ti payé bàbá wa ó payé ìyá wa ó sọ gbogbo wọn di ẹdun arinlẹ̀ ìyẹn lẹ́yìn wá ń pọ́nlé. I think something is wrong with a lot of us. Okay, mo ń bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ OECD yeah OECD náà ni so I think it's struggling to open up. Mo fẹ́ kó ṣe okay ẹ ká lọ wo ti Nigeria then I can move from there to another country. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ wo Lithuania ní bíbá country oríṣiríṣi country àjókòó sínú rakatia àjókòó sínú òfò àdé sọ fún wa pé ká kúrò nínú rakatia tá a wà ó ń ba ayé wa jẹ́ ó ń bòdù wa padà sẹ́yìn a lè ṣe business a lè tà a lè jẹ a lè mú tàbá òkè òun ló ti ṣì nísìn so ẹ ká close ilé now ẹ wo data yẹn ìlú tó péré ní 200 and something million Nàìjíríà lélẹ́yìí o no sorry yẹ ti Nàìjíríà ni alright okay kí ló tó ti kíní tó tún show báyìí mo like ẹ̀wọ̀ yẹn show báyìí ọgbà ọ̀fẹ́ òbí ọmọ rẹ̀ show ẹ̀ ní another way. Alright no not this one like this alright let's come this way export 2022 ẹ má bínú sí mi o their template on what to change ẹ bí ṣe máa ń rí tẹ́lẹ̀ but I work around it we work around it mo ń bọ̀ tí mo ní gangan lélẹ̀ sorry so let's bring this one up like this as well ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé ti Lithuania náà ká compare jókòó sínú rakatia ìlú òfò ìlú tó ti àlákà bọ̀ eléṣin load data statistics nǹkan fi ń jẹun láyé nísìnyí yẹn epo yìí yẹn ṣì máa mú ni gbogbo wa lájọ máa mú káàbà kúrò ní Nàìjíríà ẹ máa sọ pé ẹ ní crude oil àmọ́ náà ní bitumen ayé ti Lithuania lélẹ̀ now ẹ wo historical data ìlú kékeré mo fẹ́ ká farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ wo ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ wo dáadáa ẹ study ẹ̀ ṣe rí i pé in tó pọ̀ jù tí wọ́n fi make owó ní 2022 òun ni epo tó export síta at 11.71% refine ni o àwọn ò ní crude oil but wọ́n refine ẹ̀ now ṣe rí to the left hand side of bẹ́sẹ̀ understanding ẹ̀ ni pé to the left hand side of the map or the graph not the map ẹ rí i pé ó ní a lot of boxes these are the so many things tó ń produce nílùú yẹn tó export now ẹ compare sí ti Nàìjíríà ṣe ti rí ti Nàìjíríà bó ṣe rí ṣe rí pé red tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa crude oil ló pọ̀ jù níbẹ̀ at 73.7 ẹ wá rí i pé ní the other side kékèké tí kò ń ṣe púpọ̀ but crude oil nìkan òun ló fún wa ní the vast amount of money ta make ẹ wá wo àwọn ní ọ̀dọ̀ tiwọn ní Lithuania ẹ rí i pé different things ni wọ́n ṣe ni wọ́n tà tó fi di pé owó wọlé sọ́dọ̀ wọn ẹ jẹ́ n drop camera mi díẹ̀ because ó ń cover one or two things while we're doing that ẹni tó bá fẹ́ support wa account details ló wà lórí screen yẹn so ẹ lè crop ẹ tọ́jú ẹ pamọ́ gbogbo ẹni tí ẹ bá ní Barclays wa ẹ má pè owó síbẹ̀ Barclays yẹn ti close down kò sí in operation so if you still have my Barclays account because a ṣe ríyàn bíi méjì mẹ́ta tí wọ́n send owó síbẹ̀ tó máa share receipt pẹ̀lú wa kò ṣiṣẹ́ so take note of our new account details lórí screen so mo ń bọ̀ tí bá ti adjust the camera mi then we bring it back to the screen again mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko pé a kú gbìyànjú a kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun a kú iṣẹ́ ìlú wa torí pé iṣẹ́ tá à ń ṣe iṣẹ́ tó easy ní ká má sọ nǹkan míì now ẹ jẹ́ ká wo ìlú yìí nísìn ìlú tí gbogbo population ẹ̀ is kátẹ̀ sọ pé 3 million kátẹ̀ gbé sí pé 3 million èyàn náà la ṣe ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé kó support wa Mr. Agbaje wá sí wọn ní Koiki your messages on here only get to the people in the diaspora if our people in the rural area can hear your analysis, they are going to attack the governor each day. Ebi ada GoFundMe sílẹ̀ ṣe fi pé mi nìkan mo fẹ́ náwó yẹn ni bí art kódà kò tí GoFundMe ò pé £900 ó wà ní 800 Ọlọ́run ní fẹ́ àárẹ̀ ṣerú àwa torí owó àárẹ̀ lè máa ń fi dá tó pọ̀ jù dáhùn owó àárẹ̀ làwọn èèyàn máa ń láì ẹni tẹ́gbẹ̀ ń dùn ẹni tó rí fọ́ which is okay but owó ta fẹ́ fi gbára wa sílẹ̀ àfi dáwó yẹn irú gbogbo eléyìí nísìn tá bá ní enough owó a máa ṣe flyer a máa ṣe different things owó náà ní tó wọ́n bá sílé ní ọ̀kan máa so the only thing ta lè máa ṣe náà ni ẹni tó bá lè gbọ́ lórí social media fine ẹni tó bá dé lè gbọ́ tàbá ní káwọn wa náà máa kọ́tẹ̀ iṣẹ́ ńlá ni kò ń ṣiṣẹ́ kékeré kọ́ máa slide àwọn kan ní Mr. Koiki fídíò yìí ti gùn jẹ́ bá wa ṣe ní kékèké tẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn iṣẹ́ náà kọ́ nìyẹn a máa fáwọn èèyàn lówó nílé kọ́ bá wa ṣe nì ṣé mi ni máa tún máa ṣe fídíò 2 hours máa tún máa slide ẹ̀ mo ti ní time yẹn mo ní time yẹn lóòótọ́ aláwọn ọmọ tó jẹ́ 25 tó ń ṣe tó wà lọ́wọ́ wa bọ̀ nígbà táwa fún àwọn ọmọ yẹn lówó gidi ṣé inú wọn náà máa dùn so it's entirely up to us so tó bá yá gbogbo orí wa máa pé àmọ́ ibi tá à ń lọ because bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe rí ní sí pé orí àwa kan ti pé orí àwọn kan ò tí ì pé GoFundMe ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ fún adówó lórí ẹ̀ tàbá ní kẹ́ dáwó sí wa náà wọ́n dáwó so kí la fẹ́ ṣe sí so but ìyẹn ò ní stop campaign tàwa so yes gbogbo analysis sílẹ̀ káwọn èèyàn máa gbọ́ nílé and this is why we have to be focused tàbá ti sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ ní social media díẹ̀díẹ̀ ká padà síbi content ìtafẹ́ káwọn èèyàn gbọ́ gangan ẹlòmíì ò tẹ̀ mọ́ reasons ayẹfẹ́ kúrò ní Nàìjíríà ọkọ̀ rẹ̀ pé torí Fúlàní kí ní kàn ní pẹ̀lú Fúlàní tó ń pa wá a máa dí pẹ̀lú wọn but ìdí tá a ṣe fẹ́ kúrò ni pé a fẹ́ continue ibi tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ ti stop láti produce láti lè máa produce ìlú tí kò bá produce ẹ lọ anywhere ẹ máa padà sẹ́yìn ni Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ká dá padà sí burúkú Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ká dá padà sẹ́yìn a ti padà sẹ́yìn nínú Nàìjíríà ìlú òpó ni ó ti delay wa for too long and it is important that we pull out now ṣe ní gbogbo àwọn tó ń sọ pé kọ́ máa pull out but àwọn influencer lèmi náà mo lè máa ṣe so many things tó ń ṣe Yorùbá nation tó dẹ̀ máa fún mi lówó ṣe pé àwọn náà rí wọn lórí social media tó máa ra mọ́tò fúnra wọn tó máa fúnra wọn ní kinní wọ àwọn kọ́kọ́ wà débi pé wọn ò ní lè sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí tó bá expect pé àwọn tó ń ṣe influencer máa wá bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yorùbá nation àbí Biafra nation you are wasting your time that is what makes us different. That is what makes us kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe mí nìkan gbogbo àwọn àtàjọ ń ṣe movement ni mo kó together mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa so it's not about kò sí nǹkan kan ok mo wo movie kan pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ mi látànà aṣẹ̀wò tán lè Maze ó wà lórí Netflix Maze Runner mo mọ̀ bí anybody mo polówó ẹ̀ o èmi ṣe rí ni tẹ́ bá lọ wo movie yìí kábíyèsí Elédùmarè brain ẹ̀ máa ṣiṣẹ́ bí aago. Mo mọ̀ bí àwọn èèyàn ti wò rí o ẹni tó bá ti wẹ́ fi sínú comment section it's called the Maze Runner ẹni tó bá ní Netflix kó lọ wò ó èmi ṣe wò tán láìní ni èmi àtàwọn ọmọ mi àjọ ṣe ìgbà tá àlówó tá a máa kó wọn lọ sí sinimá àṣà àṣe kí ni àṣà wà nù sinimá nulẹ̀ wa bọ̀ ṣé wá da káwọn ọmọ máa bèrè pé dáadáa fẹ́ lọ sinimá kí n máa sọ pé kò sówó wọn níbi mi pé kí ni mò ń ṣe ṣé wọ́n bẹ̀ mí iṣẹ́ kí n jókòó ṣe lè but àwọn ọmọ understand àwọn ọmọ tí mo bí ti ní understanding pé èyí tí mò ń jà fún ìjọ ọ̀la wọn ni kò ń ṣe tèmi mọ́ torí àwa ti fail àwọn tó wà before wa wọ́n ti fail ẹni tó bá ti wà in their 50s wọ́n ti fail Sowore ti fail wa àwọn tó wà in the 60s ti fail wa 70 80 tí wáyé sí ẹ̀mí àbá máa ṣiṣẹ́ ṣé wọ́n ní lówó lọ́wọ́ ni so what we are saying a ní káwọn èèyàn máa dáwọ́ £1 £2 $2 ẹ ṣe ní mandatory ẹ ṣe £1 fáwa náà ẹ ṣe £2 fáwọn sódà iṣẹ́ táwa máa ṣe ok nígbà táwọn èèyàn bá ń pè mí fún this and that mọ́nítẹ́lẹ̀ nìyẹn a lè ṣe nísìn because already Ìyá Dagboru ti form movement yẹn láàrin méjì but we can still pull together ẹ lọ wo movie yìí kẹ wá sọ fún mi pé ẹ ní ìtàn pè ní cordial relationship pẹ̀lú àwọn ara yín àwọn kan ló máa make determination pa fẹ́ lọ nígbà tó di pé wọ́n máa exit kúrò nínú Maze àwọn kan náà wọ́n máa lọ àwọn kan náà wọ́n lọ wọ́n dẹ̀ fi wọ́n sílẹ̀ àwọn tó ní lọ ẹni máa kú ní ẹni máa yẹ lọ́rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí kí là ń waste time ara wa fún ẹni máa kú ẹni máa yẹ àwa tá a dẹ̀ fẹ́ kú àwa ni ká tẹ̀síwájú ká tètè kúrò ní Nàìjíríà ẹ lọ wo múfì yìí ẹ wá rí pé ilé ayé tá à ń sọ yìí ẹ jẹ́ wo bí a lè rí intro mo mọ̀ pé ọkọ̀ máa yọ kúrò ní ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ̀ wo intro tó bá dẹ̀ ti yọ ọwọ́ yọ náà ní ẹ̀mí kúkú ọmọ ní ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ̀ wo intro very powerful movie. ẹ má bínú kí n mute background audio ẹ lọ wo Maze Runner ló ń pè é appreciate pé nígbà tó fẹ́ kúrò nínú bẹ̀ àwọn kan náà ò lọ wọ́n náà máa wà nínú bẹ̀ àwọn ní àwọn lè wà nínú bíbá a gbọ́dọ̀ exit a sì lè wà nínú bíbá fọ́dún 5 táwa wà nínú prison because bí inú prison làwọn náà wà wọ́n wá fi wọ́n ṣe testing ni but kò sí bí ṣe lè ṣàlàyé fún yàn àfi tẹ́ bá lọ wò ó ṣe jẹ́ ká mute mic wa tó bá dẹ̀ tí YouTube bá dẹ̀ padà yọ kò má tà torí pé a ti mọ̀ pàrà kọ́la ní.
Can you tell me your name? I can't remember anything.
Day one, Greenie. Rise and shine.
What is this place? Welcome to the Glade. Who put us here? We don't know. What's through there?
You guys can't just keep me here.
I can't let you leave.
Why won't you tell me what's out there?
That's the maze. Every morning when those doors open, the runners look for a way out. And no.
Every time the door open, àwọn kan máa sáré lọ sínú bẹ̀ wọ́n study inú kinní yẹn wọ́n study ẹ̀ èèyàn study ẹ̀ for 3 years wọn ò rí solution èèyàn kan wá dé Ìgbòho wá dé Babakitoye wá dé pé solution Nàìjíríà ni pé ká pín àṣẹ làwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wá dàbí dundus kò ń ṣàwátà ti gbà pé a ká lọ àwọn tó ì tí gbà yín ọ̀rọ̀ bó ṣe rí nìyẹn èmi òwò fíìmù rí ẹ̀mọ̀ fún àwọn ọmọ mi àwọn oríṣiríṣi lọ́wọ́ náà máa ń wò ní máa dábàá ìjọ́jọ́ mọ́ èwo tó lélẹ̀ ní bá bá wọn jókòó ní bá rí pé eléyìí ó lè tún make sense kódà èmi máa tún lọ tún wò lénìí láti the beginning because ìtí fíìmù yìí sọ fún wa ni pé tílẹ̀kùn yẹn bá ti ṣí àwọn monster kan wà nínú bẹ̀ monster yẹn alẹ́ nìkan ló máa ń jáde ló máa ń pààyàn bí ara Nàìjíríà alẹ́ ló máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ ibi torí òru ló wọlé ló fẹ́ wá pa Ìgbòho sínú ilé tó fi pa àwọn èèyàn wa méjì tí àìtí ìrókun wọn tàdé ń bẹ bàbá wa Bọ́lá Tinubu pé kó jọ kó bá wa wá òkú yẹn jáde òkú Àdògbọ́n àti Alhaji Fatai Nàìjíríà ní inú maze tí gbogbo wa wà bí àpèjúwe gbogbo wa wà nínú maze àwa ń wá ọ̀nà tá a fẹ́ fi jáde wọ́n dẹ̀ ti wá ọ̀nà yẹn láti join for the last 63 years ni wọ́n ti ń wá ọ̀nà tá a ṣe máa jáde kúrò nínú maze ẹni tó dẹ̀ máa ń tó ń pè ní maze ni pé tó bá jù ẹ́ sínú bẹ̀ o lè máa parapolé kó má mọ̀nà tó máa gbà jáde èèyàn kan wá dé ó náà ń mọ̀nà ìkan tó wá dé ó náà nìkan lọ́lọ́run rán ṣe rí pé wàhálà wà. You can see why we are where we are today. You can see the reason why we are not moving forward because a ti wà nínú maze for 63 years we have been kept there for too long. Somebody came out and say ọ̀nà tá lè gbà lélẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká tọ̀ ọ̀nà yìí ká fi lọ àwọn kan nínú ọ̀nà yẹn ọ̀dá o ọ̀nà míì la tún máa gbà ẹ jẹ́ ká fi fíìmù yẹn sílẹ̀ ẹni tó bá lè lọ wò ẹ lọ wò I will show more than that ẹ lọ wo múfì yẹn ẹ wá dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mi so I'm gonna move further but that is what it looks like with the images ṣe rí pé maze yẹn mo fẹ́ wo bọ́ ṣe bí ọ̀fọ̀ ṣó ìlà ẹ̀ ṣàmọ̀ tán pè ní maze ta ló mọ̀ tán pè ní maze inú bí táwọn kíyàn máa ń lọ tó máa wọnú ẹ̀ báyìí tó máa sáré kiri tó ní mọ́bí tó wà maze runner fẹ́ kódà mo gbọ́dọ̀ lọ tún wò mo gbọ́dọ̀ tún wò because decision wà táwọn kan máa make àwọn kan sì máa make decision lórí yín o fact lẹ́ ń gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi o because a ní dúró fún gbogbo yín tẹ́ bá fẹ́ dá wa dúró jẹ́ a máa dúró de ọba tó ì tí ready a máa dúró de ìjòyè tó ì tí ready a máa dúró de politician we will have to make those decisions whether you like it or not because if not gbogbo wa ni monster máa pa sínú Nàìjíríà o ọlọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ ní jẹ́ kí monster pa wá o èyí tó pa wá ti tó we've had enough of the death of innocent people in Nigeria whether they are Igbos whether they are Yorubas we've had enough is enough we are tired so ẹ jẹ́ kí n ka díẹ̀ nípa ìtọ́sọ but still a strong endeavour. The past several years have seen a plethora of teen or young adult novel adapted for silver screen. The Twilight franchise, of course, was the big one, spanning 4 lucrative movies. They paved way for others to follow suit and make the jump from page to screen. Èèyàn kan ló máa decide pé yes, enough is enough. Let's look at the story. Kí n kà fún yín díẹ̀. Waking up in a rising elevator with no recollection of his past, Nobody remember the past. Àmọ́ past wa, èèyàn kan wá fún wa ní past wa tó ń pè ní bàbá Kítóyè, ó fún wa ní history. The history táwọn òyìnbó fi jẹ́ ká mọ̀, àti wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí mọ̀ àwọn history yẹn, àwa fi ń develop storyline wa tó lè gbé wa dé ibi tí a jẹ́ ìbùkún ayọ̀ fún wa. Ìyẹn làwọn kan wá sọ pé no, àfẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. So Thomas Darling O'Brien find himself in a new environment, a society made up of young boys and their grassy village called the Glade. Thomas soon discovered through the boys' leader, Albie, and a fellow boy named Newt, Thomas' brother Slangaster, that the Glade is set in the heart of a giant ever-changing maze, and that the much like Thomas were unwillingly dumped here with no memory of their past. Nobody seems to know why they are there or the meaning behind the maze itself. Kí ni meaning Nàìjíríà? Kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀. Kí ni culture Nàìjíríà? Ẹ wá ń bá Allen Oyèmẹ́jà, ẹ wá ń bàjà lórí social media. Ṣé bàbá ẹ̀ ló ní aircraft yẹn ni? Ṣé màmá ẹ̀ ló ní ni? Ṣé ìwọ náà jẹ́ investor nínú ẹ̀ ni tó fi ń complain pàṣọ tọwọ́? Kí ni kàn wọ́n pẹ̀lú aṣọ tọwọ́? Àbí kí wọ́n wọnú plane kó máa bá tiẹ̀ lọ́n tiẹ̀? Because for decades, for 24 years, ni OLAYOMI, British Airways àti Virgin ni wọ́n ń charge owó tó pọ̀ ju ẹni tó ń lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà lọ. Àwárí tó tẹ̀sí fún wa ní $700-800 àbí $800 whatever. Àmọ́ báyẹn lọ as against airline tó ń gba £1,500 tí kò pọ̀lọpọ̀ yàn lè lọ sílé mọ́ kó tẹ̀ tó di pé àwọn ò lè lọ lé mọ́ báyìí nísìnyí. Because tẹ́lẹ̀ ìbára náà wálé a ṣe máa lọ Turkey. Kódà tó bá ń fẹ́ gba Air France o gbọ́dọ̀ tún ní Shanghai visa o wá rí tó jẹ́ direct ẹ̀ wá ń complain pé iṣẹ́ egun tọwọ́ kí ní pẹ̀ pẹ̀lú iṣẹ́ egun tọwọ́ o yà wọnú aircraft yẹn kó máa ba lọ́ntì ẹ̀. Tàbádẹ̀ ti débi táwa ń lọ fine táwọn ọmọ olówó Yorùbá bá dìde pé àwọn náà lè ṣe the same thing kọ́ ṣe náà. So let's continue quickly ká lè tẹ̀síwájú torí àsìkò. Bọ́lá Kàdé. So wọ́n pe kíní yẹn ní the Glade. The Glade ẹ gbọ́ bíbá yìí dáadáa. The Glade yẹn set in the heart of a giant ever-changing maze. Alalẹ́ ni kìíní yẹn máa ń change. Ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà tó bá máa fi dàárọ̀ ọ̀la nísìn, in tó sọ lẹ́nu àti tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́la is two different things. Because ó ń change lójoojúmọ́ ni. Ìyẹn mo ṣe sọ lánàá, ṣé mi ò tẹ̀ mọ̀ pé máa wo movie tẹ́ bá lọ wo program tí mo ṣe lánàá, ẹ̀ẹ̀kan kúkú fún wa lówó ni. 4,000 people wo program wa, ẹ fún wa ní £1, ẹ fún wa ní £1,000. A níṣẹ́ tó máa ṣe fún àwa náà. But irọ́ ẹ kàn máa wò ẹ máa lọ. Ẹ wò ẹ máa lọ. Ẹ wò ẹ máa lọ 7,000 people ẹ bá fún wa ní 50p £1, $1 ó máa níbi tó máa dé. Ìwọ má sọ pé $1 ni ìwọ ṣàfihàn síbẹ̀. Koiki ti bá dẹ̀ fún $1 ṣé kò ní ìwọ ẹ̀yẹn fi ti í síbẹ̀. Ẹ ṣe ní mandatory. Ẹ mọ̀ pé a máa wúlò fún wa a lè máa progress. So kí ni mo fẹ́ bàyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé lánàá mo sọ pé spiritual attack lọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà a ní ìdòwó tó pọ̀ ìyàn kan ní 100,000 gẹ́gẹ́ bí owó kékeré. Ṣọ́rọ̀ tèmi ni mò ń sọ àbí ọ̀rọ̀ the whole of Yorùbá land. Ṣé tó bá máa ṣètùtù ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nísìn ṣé owó 100,000 ló máa ná? Mò ń béèrè ní o. Ṣé tó bá máa ṣètùtù ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nísìn 100,000 ló máa ná? Ṣèbí tèmi lèmi sọ pé tíyàn bá ní kí babaláwo bá yàn dífá tó bá padà wá wọn náà wọn rí kankan ó dà á máa pẹran á máa fún Odùduwà nìkan á máa ṣe Ṣàngó á máa ṣe bí wàá sanwó. Ṣé tíwọ náà bá lọ sí church tó bá ní kó wá ṣe àdúrà ò nira fruit ò nira kankan lọ. But we are talking about a whole Yorùbá land now tó jẹ́ pé ó ti wà nínú ìbùkún tó jẹ́ pé ó yẹ kó jáde nínú ọlá nínú iyì tó yẹ kó máa flourish kò flourish kò dẹ̀ lè flourish nítorí pé wọ́n ti fi spiritual attack bí àwọn tó kó àwọn people sínú bíbà wọ́n wá fẹ́ wo ẹni tó máa survive pé ta ló máa survive láàrin wọn. And that is what the storyline is all about. So ẹni tó bá fẹ́ ní time láti lọ wò kẹ́ lọ wò ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sórí ìtàn bá lọ tẹ́lẹ̀ lórí export. Ẹ wo export Lithuania ní 2022 46 billion 30 billion ló fi yàtọ̀ sí ti Nàìjíríà ìlú òfò. Ẹ máa expect pé Nàìjíríà ló yẹ kó ní more export ju Lithuania lọ ìlú tó ju Ogun State lọ kò tó Ogun State. Ẹ wá wo export tiwa àti Lithuania ṣe rí pé it's only 30 billion difference. Because if you look at Lithuania had a $46.9 billion in 2022 as compared to Nigeria. You okay? Not yet. How are you? Almost, yes, almost. Yeah, I love you. When you look at Nigeria, The whole of Nigeria in 2022, a population of 60% of the youth, we couldn't produce enough to give us up to billions of dollars worth of export goods. Now, kí ló ń pè ní export? Tí bá sọ fún ẹ pé export, kí ló rò pé wọ́n ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀? Let's now watch this video from my sister broadcast, wọ́n ń pè ní Vantage. Kẹwàá ní understanding ìdí tá a ṣe ń sọ pé Nigeria is dead. Nobody can revive it. I do not own the copyright, but let us listen to this, and I can interrupt anytime in the line of this program. In this video, particular, tí mo fẹ́ play nìsín. Now, yeah. Mo ti lọ too fast lọ padà sẹ́yìn. Now, mo fẹ́ ká wo kankan. Prime Minister India Modi ó máa sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn èdè ló fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ bó bá wùn ẹ́ kó gbọ́ tó bá wùn ẹ́ kó má gbọ́ problem tiẹ̀ nìyẹn, but àwọn presenter ló ṣẹ̀ máa wá change ẹ̀ sí English lọ́jọ́ iwájú bó ṣe máa rí nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyẹn tí kò ń ṣe ti Nàìjíríà o, where we will speak our language as our government will not speak Yoruba, they will not speak English. Yorùbá ni communication tó máa fi bá gbogbo àgbáyé sọ̀rọ̀. Mo rí Bill Gates ó lọ sí India náà wọ́n gbé nǹkan sí létí, literally he was listening to it while Modi was speaking. Ọmọ Yorùbá kí ni problem wa náà? What are we falling in love with Nigeria for? No, come and tell me, kí ló ń fall in love? India tó ju tìyín lọ tó ní lárí ju Nigeria lọ, èdè ẹ̀ ló fi ń bá gbogbo ọmọ ìlú gbogbo àti àgbáyé ẹ tó bá wù kó gbọ́ ẹ tó bá wù kó má gbọ́ kó má translate ẹ̀. Let's listen to this from India Prime Minister talking about aims to globalize the rupee. Wọ́n fẹ́ globalize owó wọn. A ní káwọn èèyàn kí wọ́n lọ support Yoruba. Koiki ṣé wọ́n ní gbówó wa sá lọ? Koiki ṣé wọ́n ní gbówó wa sá lọ? Ẹ wá ná náírà òfò, náírà tó ti pàdánù. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ fídíò ìlú ń bọ̀.
Central banks have a thankless job. A lot of pressure, but not a lot of credit. Just consider India's central bank. The RBI or the Reserve Bank of India consider everything they do. They protect the Indian rupee from volatility, they defend Indians from inflation, they keep our interest rates in check, and they keep commercial banks honest. None of it is easy. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given the RBI a new task, an arguably tougher one. The Prime Minister was speaking at the RBI's Foundation Day. Listen to what he said.
ये प्रयास होना चाहिए कि हमारा रुपया पूरी दुनिया में ज्यादा एक्सेसिबल भी हो, एक्सेप्टेबल भी हो.
Ìjọgbọ́n tó sọ wọ́n bí ẹni ìjọgbọ́n tó sọ ó lè gbọ́n tó sọ ìdí ẹ̀ ló sọ. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ pé èdè wo ni Nàìjíríà mọ̀, èdè wo ni Nàìjíríà ń sọ, what is the Nigerian language? Tábàdé sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn èèyàn máa wá defend the nonsense, ẹ máa wá protect the nonsense and jagbajantis. Ẹ̀yin scholars, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní PhD, ẹ̀yin tí brain yìí ta rò pé brain yìí wà okay, ẹ wá máa defend irọ́. Ẹ wá sọ àwa tí a lọ sí school, àwa tá a kàwé, ẹ wá sọ wá di Ìgbòho kàwé, Koiki ó kàwé, ó ti jẹ́ Koiki ni máa tẹ̀lé, ó ti jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí Koiki sọ ni máa gbọ́. Nígbà tí Akínwùmí Adésínà ń sọ̀rọ̀, àwọn African Development Bank, nígbà tí Cardoso ń sọ̀rọ̀, irú àwọn Koiki ni máa gbọ́, irú Ìgbòho ni máa gbọ́. Kí ló dé tí mo ní gbọ́ ibi tí Koiki ti ń sọ̀rọ̀, mo fẹ́ gbọ́ ohun tí Koiki sọ. Àbí kan tẹ́ ń sọ kọ́ nìyẹn. Tèmi tẹ́ ń sọ nìyẹn, ẹ̀yin elite wa, ẹ̀yin òfò àdàdánù. Èèyàn ló ń sọ èdè ìlú ẹ̀ nísìn. Ó yẹ dédé, okay, what language is Nigeria? Wá sọ language mi, born bastard. Ìyẹn mo ṣe máa ń fi èpè ránṣẹ́ sí yín. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kúure, èpè lẹ́ máa gbà lẹ́nu mi. Ẹ wá sọ language Nigeria fún mi náà. Ẹ jẹ́ n lọ wá fídíò ọ̀gbọ́n jáde. Sọ language Nigeria fún mi. Ìwọ náà gbọ́ sọ language Nigeria fún mi wèrè. Sọ language Nigeria fún mi.
There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves. We are not Nigerians. Okay.
Ó tún bèrè ọ̀rọ̀ mùgọ̀. We are not Nigerian. No, we are Nigerian. Ọ̀dẹ̀. We are not Nigeria. We live in denial. What language is what's the language in Nigeria? What language is Nigeria? Farabalẹ̀ kó pọ́n tí bàbá yìí sọ.
Where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is Nigeria?
Only where is the land? Where is the land? Because we know Yoruba land, we know Igbo land, we know Middle Belt land, we know everybody's land. Where is the land? Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ tún wá orúkọ movie yẹn ẹbẹ̀ lórí chat àti kọjá yẹn nísìn the Maze Runner ló ń pè. Where is the land? This man náà ti set up direct debit every 5th month. Mama gbowó lọ́wọ́ òun. Thank you so much my brother. Where is the land? Bẹ́ẹ̀ni simple Rahim, like it is so easy to understand. Kí ni nǹkan ta tó láti sọ jù báyìí lọ? Prime Minister ìlú kan ló sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn nísìn kò sọ English. Kí ló dé tí kò ṣe àdírẹ́sì gbogbo èèyàn ní kíní kan pẹ̀lú English? Kíní kan pẹ̀lú English kò ní di English kankan. So ẹ jẹ́ ká padà síbẹ̀ ká kọ̀ gbọ́ bàbá ìdí ẹ̀. Ìwọ tó ń sọ pé Nàìjíríà farabalẹ̀ kó gbọ́ èrè mú bọ̀.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves.
We are not Nigerian.
Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
That's the message from the government. But what does it mean? A global currency is basically a reserve currency. It is used in global trade. It's held by most central banks, and it's easily convertible. You can buy and sell this currency easily. And how many such currencies are there? Not many. The US dollar is the biggest one. It makes up 60% of all foreign exchange reserves, plus 40 to 50% of global trade. Other examples are the euro and the pound sterling. But nowadays, a lot of countries are de-dollarizing. They're moving away from the US dollar. China wants to globalize its yuan, BRICS is talking about its own currency, and now India wants to globalize the rupee. But why the sudden rush? Well, one reason is financial. Many countries are struggling with foreign reserves. They use dollars to repay loans and to trade. As a result, they're running out of dollars, like Sri Lanka did in 2022.
They are running out of dollar. Ṣé Bishop Adesina ṣe wà lórí program pẹ̀lú wa ṣá? Ọ̀wọ̀ tí bá ń wo bèbí tí bá ń wo program ẹ̀ ṣe ni ma I can't wait to see her in real life. I want to fix Nigeria. Cardoso pay fix Nigeria. I pity a lot of us. I just pity us because it seems that we don't understand. Àìtí mọ̀ tó ń ṣe wá. Tinubu fẹ́ fix Nigeria. Ọlọ́run fún ṣe láti àwọn ọba Tinubu jà. When we can have and start preparing for a Yoruba economy in trillions of our own currency, we are still here. I struggle. We struggle CV, struggle song. Brain power wà níta. Brain power wà nínú ilé tí ẹ kó build the economy wa. Tàbá wí tán ní alára ní bítímẹ́n Lithuania nìyẹn. Lithuania literally beat us. Tó bá yẹ pé Lithuania tún pé bíi 6 million. Ṣé mo pọ́n máa beat wa in terms of export? How many people agree that? Because export à ń padà sọ́dọ̀ bèbí. Ṣé mo pé export tí à ń wò ní bíbá is 46 billion. Kátẹ̀ round it up sí 47 billion. Nàìjíríà dẹ̀ ṣe 70 billion. Kí ló ń fà á tí Nàìjíríà ò ṣe a lot? It's because Nàìjíríà ò export gúgúrú àtẹ̀pà síta. Ìlú òfò ní Nàìjíríà kò rí nǹkan kan tó lè ṣe láti 63 years. Mùjẹ̀mùjẹ̀ country ní, but ọmọ Yorùbá ò fẹ́ gbà, ọmọ Ìgbò ò fẹ́ gbà, ọmọ Haúsá ò fẹ́ gbà pé kólúkálukú máa lọ. Ìwọ̀n ọba àwa ta tún wá agree tó yẹ ká dira wa mú ká ṣera wa ní oṣù ọkọọkọ àbí báwo ló ṣe sọ ṣe nìjà là ń bára wa jà. Ìyá kan dé ó náà ti declare Yorùbá nation ó náà máa gbá délédé interim government àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá dẹ̀ ọdẹ gọ̀ ọdẹ accept bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe rí pé we have a problem. Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀ tẹ́ ń wò wá ní orí Instagram. Wọ́n ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ àmọ́ tó wà fà tó di pé we are getting less than a minute kí a fi máa ṣe program lórí ẹ̀. So I don't know what has gone wrong. So tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n fún wa ní 4 hours. All of a sudden nísìn kò bí a ló ń pé 30 minutes wọ́n nísìn. So every now and then I mean láti máa restart it. So àmọ́ tó ṣe mákímákì. So ìbọn owó náà. So ẹ ṣe nǹkan tí mo sọ yé yín. So tẹ bá wo ìtàn bá bọ̀ níbí báyìí. Ẹ rí i pé ọ̀rọ̀ export pé báwo làwọn ṣe máa continue a máa sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀ nísìn. Wọ́n sọ pé how to globalize the rupee owó òlu tiwọn. Owó òlu tiwọn. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa tẹ́wà lórí program. We have a lot to cover. And that is why, tabako rí nǹkan tó tún wá distract wa. Ṣé ló máa irú àwọn abẹ́ máa pé why kí ló tún jẹ́ pé tí nǹkan báyìí tún. It's because that is the whole agenda. In terms of nísìn, àwọn kan ní kò ọ̀gbọ́n ní rural village. Báwo ló ṣe gbọ́? Nígbà tí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ò débẹ̀. Íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ò débẹ̀. Èmi ti mọ̀ yẹn láti 3 years ago. Rédíò tá a ṣe ó ṣì ń lọ but we need to do more. We just need to do more. We need to do more. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sọ́dọ̀ àwọn ará India ń bọ̀ kò tí ì dé. Mute background bishop ẹ ti wọlé ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ díẹ̀ láti nǹkan tí ẹ bá mute tẹ tún gbọ́nu lẹ́yìn bishop ẹ mute please. Ẹ ká jẹ́ kí Bishop Adesina bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ for bí 10-15 minutes. Ẹ go àgbọ̀n yín.
Thank you very much, Koiki.
Àná ni mo ṣe wo program eléyìí o, àná ni mo ṣe wo kódà mo wò lánàá mo tún wò láàárọ̀ yìí. Fídíò tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wò yìí mo ti wò lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta. Ẹ̀ẹ̀mẹ́ta ni mo ti wò ní tó ká mi lára pé ibo lọmọ Yorùbá kí ló dé dàbí ronú. Bishop ẹ bá mi báwọn èèyàn sọ̀rọ̀ mo gbọ́ yín.
It is true wípé spiritually nǹkan dé ọpọlọ àwọn èèyàn wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ sí kinní yẹn ni wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ and that's why Baba Akintoye talk about the Fulani parable and kì í ṣe pé àwọn Fulani nìkan ló ṣe marabu àwọn Yorùbá náà tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ìṣẹ̀ṣe wá gbàgòdè nítorí pé ebi ti pa wọ́n for many years so gbogbo wọn ti wá wọ òṣèlú wọ́n wá gbé agbára ìṣẹ̀ṣe tọ́lọ́hún tó fi sí ìkáwọ́ wọ́n fi ń ti àwọn olóṣèlú yìí lẹ́yìn torí àwọn olóṣèlú yìí ni wọ́n ní owó tán lè fún wọn. So it is now that we are shouting that some of them are now stepping back a bit, looking back wípé ìlú òrọ̀gbọ̀ and they've made terrible mistake. Wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń yọ àwọn ìrànlọ́wọ́ tó ń ṣe fún àwọn pípọ̀ yìí padà kúrò nítorí ebi ọmọ àlelébí ebi ò mọ ìṣẹ̀ṣe ebi ò mọ mùsùlùmí ebi ò mọ kìrìsìtẹ́nì ebi ò mọ bóyá PDP ní àbí APC ní ebi pa everybody round ni and so láti January this year láti December làwọn USD give out memo fún gbogbo central bank wípé they started dollar recall. Ohun tó ń pè ní dollar recall ni wípé dọ́là ò jáde síta mọ́ gbogbo dọ́là tó wà ń ta ó wọlé padà ní. Because they want to frame another dollar so that they want to hike the value. Reason is because of the BRICS de-dollarization program tó ń lọ. Àwọn BRICS tẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn ìlú tó ń kóra wọn jọ pọ̀ tó ń jẹ́ BRICS yìí wọn ò ná dọ́là mọ́ láti fi ṣe kátàkárà. Now nǹkan táwọn èèyàn understand rèé gbogbo àgbáyé pátá owó wọn dọ́là ni wọ́n fi ń ṣe central value measurement. Nígbà tí gbogbo wọn kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ 1-to-1 nígbà tí gbogbo wọn kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ 1-to-1 ní gbogbo owó ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí after the second world war tí wọ́n rí pé àwọn ìlú kan ń yáwó wọ́n jẹ gbèsè and àwọn ìlú kan ó dàbí pé láti ọrọ̀ ajé wọ́n ṣerú fún ìlú mìíràn so wọ́n ní a currency that is neutral and a central value so wọ́n wá discover America ní owó ẹ̀ jẹ́ one ọ̀kan. Owó Japan ìmí lè jẹ́ 20 ìmí lè jẹ́ 30 ìmí lè jẹ́ 16 sí iye dọ́là kan so wọ́n wá gba Amẹ́ríkà láàyè kí owó ẹ̀ kó máa jẹ́ measure between the value of every other currency. Now Amẹ́ríkà wá láti gba Amẹ́ríkà ló influence yẹn ada Amẹ́ríkà jèrè o tó bá trade àbí wọ́n lost tó bá trade Amẹ́ríkà máa jèrè. Being that wípé owó wọn lè máa fi measure owó dẹ̀bi ṣe kátàkárà ẹ̀ so charges máa wà bẹ́ẹ̀ charges yẹn wọ́n kó o lè jẹ́ wọ́n jèrè. So for years àwọn ìlú bíi Russia, China, South Africa, India, gbogbo wọn Brazil, gbogbo wọn ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá jí wọ́n wá wòye pé a ti fún America gbé ààyè for many years láti rub all over the world. America ò bá trade America jèrè. Wọ́n bí ìlú kan dá kóun má trade lóṣù kan wọ́n máa jẹ gbèsè but Amẹ́ríkà bá ní òun tẹ̀ fẹ́ sinmi owó ọ̀tajà lóṣù kan Amẹ́ríkà sì tún jèrè nítorí owó wọn lè fi ń ṣe kátàkárà so ojú àwọn yẹn ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wà ńlá wípé àwọn Amẹ́ríkà yìí wọ́n ti take the advantage wípé a fi owó wọn ṣe benchmark to measure all currency so wọ́n wá wò pé nǹkan tá a máa ṣe nísìnyí láti ṣe ìpín ẹ̀wọ̀n nítorí gòlàgòlà wọn le jù wọ́n dédé block owó Russia nítorí pé dọ́là ni Russia fi kó owó yẹn tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ní àwọn láṣẹ lórí dọ́là wọ́n ní dọ́là yẹn ò lè fi àkáǹtì yẹn lẹ̀ àti táwọn bá release ẹ̀ so àwọn other country wá wò wípé nígbà tí America block ìdòwò odidi Russia tí Russia ò lè gba owó ẹ̀ nítorí pé dọ́là ló wà ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí pé táwọn tó bá dọ̀la táwọn bá wà ní the same tight corner bẹ́ẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà lè ṣe jù yẹn lọ fáwọn so wọ́n á wò pé láti wá ọ̀nà míì owó tá a máa fi ṣe kátàkárà yàtọ̀ sí dọ́là. òun làwọn BRICS yẹn ṣe kóra wọn jọ but they start de-dollarization program so wọ́n ṣètò owó kan lọ́wọ́ báyìí nísìnyí tó jẹ́ owó yẹn ni wọ́n máa fi trade láàrin ara wọn.
o ṣe Peter Pan for the super chat mo gbádùn ní Bishop.
pending the time tí owó yẹn máa fi ready wọ́n ti measure owó yẹn the value will be $55 to one.
ìyẹn BRICS àbí.
BRICS yes £50 ló máa jẹ́ £50 to one BRICS money òun náà máa fi trade láàrin ara wọn náà but pending that owó gbogbo àwọn ìlú BRICS yẹn is acceptable láàrin ara wọn tó máa fi ṣe kátàkárà láàrin àwọn máa gbà now irú nǹkan tí China ṣe tó gbé yuan jáde yẹn òun làwa náà ṣe tàgbé rúbà jáde ká ní Yorùbá ti jẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Áfíríkà ni wọn ò bá máa lo rúbà fi ṣe kátàkárà lẹ́nu. That is what we did but ẹja gbọ́dọ̀ Yorùbá sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn wo Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́ báyìí kí ni náírà ò já mọ́ kankan. Because Nigeria Nigeria is not trading anything.
Bishop ẹ má ní mo kọ́ tí yín díẹ̀ ẹ má bínú Bishop Lithuania ní 2022 export wọn ó wọ́ ti $46 billion kápẹ́ sọ pé 47 ìlú tó jẹ́ pé 3 million ní population wọn Nàìjíríà ní 2022 ní the same ọdún yẹn náà ìlú tó jẹ́ 200 million ó pa $70 billion mo ń gbọ́ yín lọ ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ Bishop mo kí o gbọ́ yín tẹ́wà lórí ètò ẹ bá wa pín ètò yìí ó wà important ẹ bá wa pín ẹ dẹ̀ like ẹ bá wa like ẹ kí n like program yẹn ni kò kí n send the message èèyàn 95 ló ń wò, èèyàn 64 péré ló láìkẹ̀. Ó yẹ kí gbogbo ilẹ̀ láìkẹ̀ ni àtẹ̀yìntẹ́jọ́ ọmọ onítìrì tẹwà lábẹ́ ètò ẹ̀ láìkẹ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n sókè Bishop.
Now, gbogbo export report tí Nàìjíríà bá ń give is false. Any export report tí Nàìjíríà bá ń give is just cumulation of assessment. Nàìjíríà ò ta nǹkan kan. Only crude oil ní Nàìjíríà ń tà, but crude oil ọ̀hún wọ́n ti mortgage out. Ó wà lára nǹkan tó ń jíjálẹ̀ ní Niger Delta lénìí nítorí pé àwọn àtọ̀húnrìnwá ni wọ́n ń wa crude oil wọn without apology. Nàìjíríà tó gbé gbogbo ẹlẹ́ fún àtọ̀húnrìnwá àti individual kò ní ẹ̀tọ́ mọ́ láti wa crude oil. That's the reason tán máa sọ wípé wọ́n extract crude oil, wọ́n lọ ń gbé lọ sí ìlú gbòmí lọ refine, wọ́n tún wá ń tà á padà fún wa. People should have asked wípé nígbà tó ń extract ẹ̀ tó ń gbé lọ ìta ni wọ́n sanwó fún. Because is it free? It shouldn't be. So that tells you that they don't have the ownership rights of all those resources, all those wells. They mortgage everything. Ṣèbí kan náà ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lọ yá owó ní NNPC. Imagine kìkàkàtì má sọ àwọn resources tó fi yáwó tó jẹ́ pé báńkì yẹn fún wọn lówó ọ́ìlì náà máa mine for 5 years. NNPC itself tó jẹ́ federal government parastatal tá a mọ̀ sí tẹ́lẹ̀ is privatized now. It's privatized. So if NNPC is privatized and NNPC is the one in charge of oil, which one is now government? Government has no business in business. So God sọ fún yín nìyẹn. So wọ́n ti pín sọ́wọ́ ara wọn. Nigeria sells nothing. That's why they keep borrowing. It's like a company that is not producing and selling anything and is paying salaries, paying bills, and is running. And it's so stupid. Yoruba still want such an organization to stand, to continue. Wọ́n máa fi gbogbo iṣẹ́ rú ni now. By the time táwọn tó tẹ̀jẹ̀ ló bá dé, wọ́n máa gbogbo staff ní pátá náà máa mú. So where are we going? That's why you see Naira falling. Nǹkan tí Emefiele ṣe that time. Emefiele just averagely put Naira on 450 to $1. Then ó gbé àwọn tó máa rà nílé sí 750. So different margin tó wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n á máa fi cushion transaction fún èrè àwọn bureau de change, èrè bank àti èrè ti àdó tiwọn náà, because there is no resources backing the naira, and that's why it was a bit stable. It was stable for so long time. It was stable. Ó run like a business. Central Bank was running the FS like a business entity that time, because Nigeria has no FX at all. So, but nígbà táwọn eléyìí dé ẹ̀tanú economy ló gbé dé ẹ̀tanú politics. Wọ́n ṣe gbá wọ́n ṣàwo ó yẹ kó wà ó yẹ kó float ẹni floating ló yẹ kó wà. Wọ́n gbàgbé wípé kí ọ̀bìnrin lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó bá bẹ̀ wípé kí ló dé tẹ̀ ṣe float yẹ tẹ̀ ṣe hang yẹ tẹ̀ rọra manage yẹ. Ìbéèrè o bá ti sọ fún ọ wípé we don't have income from crude oil. So there is no income from crude oil. The crude oil, which is the only hope to trade, to strengthen naira, is not in existence again. Wọ́n bèrè yẹn, wọ́n kàn ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀, wọ́n float naira, wọ́n náà ṣe òkè. Èèyàn tó ń ta furniture, báwo èèyàn ti mọ̀ pé furniture ló ń tà? O ò wá ní stock, o ò ní stock mọ́, o ò ní furniture mọ́. Gbogbo àwọn tó wá ta furniture wọ́n wá síta, wọ́n wá sí ṣòro, wọ́n wá síta. Ṣé ìwọ tó ní stock ṣé wàá tún wá síta wá bá wọn? Tó bá bá ẹ̀gbọ́n fẹ́ rajà kí ló máa present? So that is what happened. They went and float naira that has no backing, that has no product sales backing. So they àṣírí náírà wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí tú immediately ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fall. For that last mo ṣe sọ ìgbà tán immediately tán wọlé tán ni wọ́n float náírà tán lọ sí bá ṣọ́gbà mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fún yín ní prediction ọkọ tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ní náírà wípé from this time to this time nǹkan báyìí ló máa àwọn tó mọ̀ gangan wọ́n sọ idiot word but ojú wọn ló ṣe lé but nǹkan tó wá ṣe recently nìyí nígbà tó rí pé kíní nǹkan já lọ ni ó ti wẹ́ wọ 2000 kí ni tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n try láti lo àbámọ̀dá economy tricky economy and what is that lára àwọn NNPC wọ́n lọ yá owó kan lọ́wọ́ báńkì kan tó dé pé ó ní pé for 4 years or 5 years ló máa fi gba gbúdọ̀ ẹ̀ wọ́n gba dọ́là lọ́wọ́ kan wọn. Then CBN náà pariwo síta wípé ìwọ tó bá ní dọ́là anywhere in the world tó mọ̀ nǹkan tó máa fi ṣe o lè wá kó fún wa láàrin oṣù mẹ́fà tó bá fún wa ní like $300 or $3 million láàrin oṣù mẹ́fà o lè gba $3 million and $50 nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ rẹ̀ á wà lórí ẹ̀ so àwọn èèyàn really ọgbọ́n wá fún wọn to keep even Nigerians some banks ọkọ̀ owó dọ́là wọn ọkọ̀ fún CBN pé in 6 months àbí àrèrè lórí ẹ̀ so nǹkan tó ń ṣe they are selling portfolios they are not receiving gbogbo wípé we receive so amount of dollars yẹn they are portfolios they are not investment.
Okay.
Kì í ṣe pé wọ́n gbé dọ́là wọlé láti ta láti wá dá ilé iṣẹ́ sílẹ̀ wọ́n dọ́là wọlé láti ta láti wá ra nǹkan níbi tàǹtà ọ̀ọ́tà ṣe nǹkan no the thing is like liability lọ́wọ́ wọn kì í ṣe nǹkan tí wọ́n dín tán rà tó jẹ́ pé tó máa mú production wà ń bí no it's a liability lọ́wọ́ wọn.
kí ló dé tá a rí production ní Nàìjíríà? Kí ló dé tí a rí production nínú Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú gbogbo èrò tó wà ní Nàìjíríà?
nǹkan tí mo try to explain náà nìyẹn now little production tó wà nínú Nàìjíríà is within private individual and it's on consumption consumable products. Nàìjíríà ń ṣe búrẹ́dì fúnra wọn Nàìjíríà ń ṣe ṣíà tó ń lò fúnra wọn Nàìjíríà ń ṣe bàtà fúnra wọn all those ones are consumable products within Nigeria they don't have capacity to export.
Kofi Chad jẹ́ má bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí.
ìjọba Nàìjíríà ni ò mọ bísínẹ́sì tó máa ṣe ìjọba Nàìjíríà ni ò mọ bísínẹ́sì tó máa ṣe to create export. so gbogbo tó yẹ káwé wọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní gbogbo ní Nàìjíríà ti ń rí gbogbo analysis tó ń gíìfù yẹn Nàìjíríà ò ta ìgbà náà wọn ò ta wo wọn ò ta anything Nàìjíríà gọọmẹ̀ntì ò ta mọ́tò Nàìjíríà gọọmẹ̀ntì ò ta wọ́n kàn ní wait export ìsososo yẹ ministry wo ló export it Ministry of Agriculture kò ní common plantation for cassava afrot wọn ò ní Federal Ministry of Agriculture wọn ò ní plantation of àgbàdo afrot so gbogbo we export grain for so in 2000 and guinea worth of guinea ibo náà àwọn ministry wo ló ṣe àwọn wo ló ṣe private individual yìí táwọn ṣe wọ́n jẹ́ ni now within Nigeria dẹ̀ ni ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀jẹ́ kó tún gbé bọ́ síta ìwọ tó jẹ́ private individual nísìnyí tó bá fẹ́ export nǹkan síta ó ní nǹkan ó lójú nǹkan tó lè gbé bọ́ta kò lè gbé jáde. Gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ló láṣẹ láti export àwọn big thing like that for exchange of forex. So Nàìjíríà ò dẹ̀ ṣe Nàìjíríà ò ṣe irọ́ ni gbogbo report don give out. Ọ́ìlì nìkan ni wọ́n rì láàlẹ́ lórí ọ́ìlì nìkan yẹn wọ́n ti tún mọ́gèjì ẹ̀ wọ́n ti tún mọ́gèjì ẹ̀. So ohun tó wá ń ṣe fún dọ́là láti wá lẹ́yìn sí gbogbo àwọn owó tó gbà yẹn. Liability tó wà lọ́wọ́ yẹn wọ́n á fi ń ṣe like subsidy fún dọ́là. Like now petrol ó yẹ kí petrol ti jẹ́ 1,200 per litre. So collaboration yẹn wà láàrin CBN àti NNPC. So owó yẹn wà lọ́wọ́ wọn wọ́n fi ń help to subsidize dollar value. So àwọn marketer yẹn tó náà ń ta epo yẹn. So a lè iye tó yẹ kán tà a lè reduce sí 700 tí wọ́n ń tà nísìnyí excess orí ẹ̀ federal CBN ló sọ fún wọn. So it's like subsidy from the back door. The same thing yẹn náà ni wọ́n ṣẹlẹ̀ fáwọn bureau change. Ọ̀tà fúnra ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ṣe clamp down on every orders and banks. Wọ́n yan àwọn bureau change tó máa máa ta. Wọ́n wá fún wọn wá sọ iye tó máa máa ta. How can you be controlling money that you are not producing? It is naira you can control. You can't control dollar. America can control dollar. And that's the reason tí dọ́là yẹn tó bá ti tán lọ́wọ́ wọn mo fún ọ ní oṣù mẹ́fà ni tó bá ti tán lọ́wọ́ wọn táwọn tó kówó fún wọn tó bá ti fẹ́ wá máa gbowó wọn they will need the dollar àwọn tó ta dọ́là fún wọn á máa kó jáde àwọn àbókí yẹn wọn á máa tà ní iye tó yẹ kí dọ́là jẹ gbọ̀ngàn náírà àdàbí pé jábọ́ láti tí nítorí bẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn ọkọ̀ àgbàmọ̀dá ẹ̀kọ́ ìtàn ṣẹlẹ̀. Thank you.
That was Bishop giving us the background that we needed. Program is just about 20 minutes because Montana Party 3 hours, so we've done good 3 hours. So we're gonna start winding it down, because I have some other things to engage with. But before we go, let's go back to the India Kalobo report here, DSC, so that we can get the understanding of what Bishop is saying. Because in the Bishop ń sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn ó máa jáde látara conversation mo kí Yoruba Nation now, and I say shout out to many of you that are on the platform as well. I'm going to mute my mic. Let's listen to this.
So these countries are looking at other options, like trading in local currencies. The second reason is political. Some major exporters are under Western sanctions. Countries like Russia, China, even Iran, they're all sanctioned, so you cannot use dollars to buy from them. So what do countries do? They look beyond the US dollar. They try to use local currencies. And India's reasons are a mixture of both of these, political and economic. We trade a lot with countries like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, countries that are low on dollar reserves. We also trade with sanctioned countries like Russia and Iran. So we need alternatives to the US dollar. But beyond this, there is also a third reason, a strategic goal. India is the 5th largest economy in the world. It aims to become the 3rd largest in this decade.
That is where it gets more interesting. India is the 5th largest in the world. But in the next decade, that means in the next 10 years, wọ́n fẹ́ grow, wọ́n fẹ́ supersede àwọn America àti China. But kí ló máa ṣe láti lè débẹ̀? Ṣé wọ́n máa pé lórúkọ Jésù Inshallah eriwo yà ṣé nǹkan tó máa ṣe nìyẹn? Ẹ yé jẹ́ ká máa tọ́ra wá jàre. Ṣé India máa ṣe nìyẹn? Ẹ rò pé àwọn náà lẹ́sìn tí wọn Buddhism ló ń ṣe. Ṣé ìtàn máa ṣe nìyẹn? Ẹgbọ́n kan tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìwà ìnísìn tá a máa play nísìn. Ṣé Jésù la máa send lọ sí inú factory ló dẹ̀ máa produce báírò fún wa? Kò ń ṣe pé a máa train àwọn èèyàn la máa kó síbẹ̀. Ẹni tó máa wa mọ́tò, ẹni tó máa ṣe sample ẹ̀, ẹni tó máa lọ sínú store pé tó ń tà yẹn in large quantity. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa tọ́ra wa tó bá yá gbogbo wa la máa jẹ breakfast. India náà ń lọ sí where you dey carry us go. Ẹ wo building yìí àwọn ará India Hindu ní Arab country lọ́kọ́ sí mo ti show ẹ̀ fún yín òun lélẹ̀. Hindu $81 million ló cost wọn láti kọ́ sí United Arab Emirates. Àwọn èèyàn sọ pé torí àwọn jẹ́ Islamic country àtowó alcohol àtowó Hindu àtowó Christian àtowó Muslim wọ́n kó gbogbo ẹ̀ papọ̀. Àwa wà níbi tá à ń tanra wa nínú Nàìjíríà. A wà níbi tí wọ́n ti fi ẹ̀tàn tó ti fi tàn wá for a very long time. Okay? A dẹ̀ ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn wa pé ẹ jẹ́ ká bọ́ nínú ẹ̀. It's still charging. Ó ṣì ń charge. Stop disturbing me. It's still charging. Okay? We just started charging it. It's gonna take about an hour. Okay?
That are you done?
Yeah, I got 20 more minutes.
Well, how do you win your friends?
Yeah?
How do you win your friends?
Okay, take this one. Aboromo Yeyinisin. So this is the reason why we are saying that we can create this is when it comes to creating substantial wealth to build a nation Without exporting our resources, Cardoso doesn't come close. I am working smart for Yoruba nation self-determination. Mo kí àwa Ọlájírẹ jẹ́ kí n máa kí ndí ẹ̀jẹ̀ tọ́ra fẹ́ máa parí ètò ẹ̀fọ́ àwọn ọdún àti ń pè mí gan-an. Mo kí Nurudeen Akínmọ̀yédé, Grandma Felicia Àjàgbé, mo kí yín o, gbogbo yín àgbàlagbà wa. Jamo 419, mo kí ẹ brother mi. Mo kí bàbá wa Múyì. Mo kí Ọ̀pá Rájí, mo kí yín sà. Bàbá mi Kẹ́hìndé Òsénì Sàlámì, mo kí yín. Ìyàwó Elizabeth Adésànyà, mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè, mo fi kí yín máa. Bobby, mo kí yín. Sọ́nkì, mo kí ẹ. Ìyàwó Arúkàyà Àtọmọ́wùmí, mo kí yín. Ìfanigbémilékè, mo kí ẹ. Ìgbẹ́sàn Tóyìn, mo kí ẹ o. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa Bólúwatifẹ́, mo kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ náà. Gbogbo àwọn tó wà ní àárẹ̀ Ọlọ́run fún wa lálàáfíà. Stone Cold, mo kí ẹ dáadáa brother mi Stone Cold Peter. Mo kí ẹ Peter Pan, mo kí ẹ Peter. Mo kí Clement, mo kí gbogbo àwọn Biafra o. Silver Badmus, mo júbà yín o. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáàdì wa Moses Ọlánìrun. Mo kí Mr. Adésanwó Balógun. Mo kí wa Koiki Media team. Bishop Adésínà ẹṣẹ ẹkú gbogbo ìgbà. Ẹkú làákàyè. Mo rẹ̀ gbọ́rúkọ yín nígbà tí èyí Yorùbá wù yín pè lánàá, mo rẹ̀ wá lè pronounce dáadáa báyìí. Sẹ̀mọ́lúàbíní. Ẹ má bínú, mo ti másákà orúkọ yín, ẹ má bínú. Ẹ̀kọ́ Yorùbá yẹn máa ń kọ́ mi lẹ́nu báyìí. Mr. Ọlákúnlé, mo kí ọmọdé, mo kí àgbàlagbà o. Grandma Lee Àjàyí, mo rí yín bẹ́ẹ̀. Olóyèdè Moshood, mo kí ẹ o. Mo kí àwọn dádì wa, mo rẹ́yìn náà lórí Facebook nígbà ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín lẹ́wà lórí ètò. Mr. Shitu, mo kí yín. Mr. Wálé Adékúnlé. Bàbá mi Wàsíù Akínyẹlé, mo kí yín. Gbogbo àyíká ń bú mi náà, mo kí yín o. Tó bá yá gbogbo ọlá máa jẹ breakfast. Bàbá mi Dennis Dayọ̀ Omítògùn. Bàbá mi Kẹ́hìndé. Mo kí gbogbo yín lẹ́yìn ọ̀tún lósì. Ray Child, good evening sir. Mo kí àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ ọmọ Ẹdó. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn Haúsá. Mr. Bádéjọ, mo kí yín. Mr. Lukman Ọláìdé, mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè kí yín sir. Mo tó bẹ́ẹ̀ láti la orúkọ mọ́yìn kankan lórí o. Bàbá mi Azeez Rahim, mo kí gbogbo àwọn medias wa. Ṣọ́ra ṣe máa parí ètò ni o, mo ṣe ń kí gbogbo alọ́tún lọ sí. Mr. Wálé Adékúnlé, mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè kí yín. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wake up ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹ jẹ́ ká focus. Ìyá wa Táíwò Kíkẹ́, mo kí àwọn ọmọ nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀. Gani Olóyèdé, mo kí ẹ. Wálé Favour, mo kí gbogbo group pátápátá títí dé YSDN. Ayọ̀mí Kúndámíjù, mo kí ẹ o. Mr. Débáyọ̀ Kìkíọlá Emmanuel, mo kí yín sà. Ajìjàngbara kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun, mo ń rọ́wọ́ yín. Gbogbo bẹ̀ ṣe ń slice àwọn videos yẹn lọ́tún lọ́sì. Ọmọdámiláre, ẹ̀yin kọ́ là ń bá wí o nígbà tá a pé Ọmọdámi nígbà kan ní àná lórí program àlè kan ló pé rẹ̀ lọ́mọdáre kò ń ṣe ti yín o. Ọmọ ọpọlẹ̀ yín. Ọkọ̀yà Fọláyan, mo kí ẹ. Mo kí sísítà mi Tèmítọ́pẹ́, mo kí mọ́mì. Mo kẹ́yìn fine sisters mi. Sísítà mi kan send the message ni wọ́n ní mi ní gbogbo àwọn ọkọ ìyá Oòduà, mo ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Àwọn ìyàwó mi ò dẹ̀ bínú. Mo rẹ́rìn-ín yó, mo ń sọ fún ìyàwó mi. Ẹ já kúrò nù Nàìjíríà. Ẹ já kúrò nù oko ẹrú. Ẹ já kúrò nù dọ̀tí táwa. Ìyá bàbá mi Nurudeen, mo kí ẹ Akin Games. Aláwọ̀ bàbá, ọ̀run àbá wa pẹ̀lú yín. Ògúnmọ́lá, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń náwó nílé tẹ́ fi ń ra data. Prince Adéọlá, ìyàwó Bólúwatifẹ́, gbogbo ẹ̀yin nurse wa, ẹ̀yin doctors. Dash Mayor, mo kí ẹ ń bẹ̀. Easy, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa nínú Amẹ́ríkà. Mo kí ẹ o. Àní KOIKIMEDIA, Ogun Naira Films, mo kí yín. Wọ́n ní sorry, sound is not good. Bí a ń tẹ gbèsè tí ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin tẹ máa ń bẹ APC Nàìjíríà, ẹ ń gbọ́ wa dáadáa, ẹ máa yọ nígbà míì. Sound yẹn dúró dáadáa láti bíbà. Bọ̀ láàrin méjì ó lè máa wà distorted because mo máa ń mute and on and off. Bàbá mi Kúnlẹ̀ Ṣítà, mo kí ń sà. Ọlámilékan ló wá ṣe sí. Dash Mayor, mo kí Omeyo, mo kí Masby. Ìyá Ọlájírẹ Kúkadé, the solid fundamental of any economy comprises usefulness, basic education. As usual, KOIKIMEDIA, look out for my email. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ìjẹ́rìí. Àwọn èèyàn ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní background. Mo kí Grandma First Bank pé lọ́dọ̀ tiwa àwọn ń pẹ́ lórí nǹkan kan tá a bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ à ń lọ tiwa nìyẹn a ti sọ tó lóye ní kí n sọ lórí ti lẹ́tà ti kóòtù tí a mú jáde ẹni tó bá mísẹ̀ yẹn tẹ́ bá lọ sí the beginning mo dẹ̀ ti ṣe audio version ẹ̀ jáde fáwọn tí wọ́n ní lè gbọ́ program yìí so in case tẹ́ bá rí audio yẹn bá wa pín so ilé ẹjọ́ a máa sọ èyí tó kù ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ woman yìí tán torí àsìkò wa a ti wà ní 2 hours 34 minutes so we have about 26 minutes. Gani sọ pé I'm just thinking how beautiful Yoruba land is going to be wàláì ṣẹ́rí gbogbo mọ́tò tó ń ṣe níbí báyìí wọ́n ti ń ṣe náà níjẹ̀bú a lè ṣe ní Oǹdó gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tó àríṣẹ́ tá à ń tó dẹ̀ padà má ṣe fàájì à lọ club ẹni tó bá fẹ́ ṣe ṣìnà ṣe ṣìnà náà kó pẹ́ anywhere in the world wọ́n ti ń ṣe yẹn òfin ló kàn máa sọ pé nǹkan báyìí ló lè ṣe nǹkan báyìí ló lè ṣe bọ̀ kò ní ṣe tí gbogbo àjòkò nísìnyí tẹ́tí sọ gbogbo ọ̀hún ní ritual ní Ogun State ẹ ká wake up ẹ̀yin yan wa ẹ ká wake up ẹ ká gbọ́ fídíò ìtàn délẹ̀ díẹ̀ ká tún máa tẹ̀síwájú kó tó di pa àwọn mẹ́tò yẹn wá sísàlẹ̀.
So we're talking about a global power, which means you cannot depend on foreign currencies. You need something more reliable, like a globalized.
pé mobile phone lọ́n ṣe níbẹ̀ yẹn ẹ jẹ́ kí n wá ẹ̀nẹ̀ sẹ́yìn díẹ̀ ṣe rí bíbà ṣé wọn náà rí tán ṣe mú bọ̀ máa mute máa kọ̀ fẹ́ kárí bẹ̀ yẹn tó bá ti débẹ̀ máa pause ẹ̀ òun sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ èmi mo pause mo mute mic ẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ àdìde ṣé kò ní kó ti lọ síwájú púpọ̀ ẹ rí bíbà nísìn ṣe rí pé àwọn náà níbi tó ti ń sin Ọlọ́run tí wọ́n àsìkò láti sin Ọlọ́run yàtọ̀ sásìkò láti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ kò sílùú náà láyé yìí tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ti ní workforce àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ìlọ́lá ń pọ̀ fúnra wa ìlú yàn lè tò síwájú mo kí ẹ̀yin tá wà lórí Twitter space àní lè gba call lórí program tèmi má bínú Arẹwà sísítà mi dáadáa akíkanjú Ọlọ́run bá wà pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ òkú àdúró tí brọ́dà ẹ̀ Yorùbá Nation Now ẹ̀kúṣẹ́ takuntakun mo kí ìyàwó Queen àwọn ọ̀báyàn kankan jà ọ̀bá ọmọ APC jà kódà mo ọ̀bá ọmọ Labour Party jà àwọn ṣe kankan náà ni àní kólúkálukú máa lọ ẹ̀yin náà wo factory káwá níbẹ̀ káàkiri ìyẹn ò ní pé ká má ṣe fàájì bọ̀ lẹ́ni nísìn gbogbo factory láti sọ di mọ́ṣáláṣí àti church mega mosque ìyẹn là ń kọ́ nísìn ẹja gbọ́ díẹ̀ sí ká tó máa lọ.
Depend on foreign currencies. You need something more reliable, like a globalized Indian rupee. It would protect you from foreign volatility. It will also insulate you from economic warfare. So we've answered the what and the why. Now let's look at the how. How can India globalize the rupee? It won't happen overnight. Just look at the Chinese. After the 2008 recession, they decided to globalize their currency, the yuan. It's been almost 16 years now, yet the yuan makes up just 5.8% of international payments. It's still behind the dollar, the euro, and the pound, so do not expect miracles with the rupee. With that said, let's look at what India can do. And just a disclaimer, there is no exact handbook here. Different currencies had different paths to globalization. The pound used colonization, the dollar used the Second World War, and the euro.
Like if you tell me, pounds in low colonization, America low Second World War. Kí ni Yorùbá máa lò? Ìyẹn ló yẹ káwa náà ronú sí. Ìyẹn ló yẹ káwa náà ṣe iná gbọ́ nǹkan tó sọ́bẹ̀ yẹn. America lo Civil World War or Second World War ẹ jẹ́ káwa náà take advantage kò sí nǹkan kan tó máa come easy but I hope that we will listen mo kàn fẹ́ ká tó bọ̀ gbọ́ títí ní díẹ̀ sí ibi tó máa lọ ọmọ lálejò gan nísàlẹ̀ tó wá kí wa lẹ́yìn láti yọjú sí wọn ẹ má bínú sí mi.
Institutions. But if a country wants to globalize its currency, most economists talk about 4 requisites, 4 things that you need to do. The first is financial stability. Your overall debt must be under control, your inflation must be moderate, and your per capita income should be high. Various RBI committees have talked about this. They say fiscal deficit should be less than 3.5% of the GDP, and inflation must be less than 5%. And these levels must be maintained over a long period of time. Only then you signal stability. And I'm afraid India is not there yet. India's fiscal deficit is 5.8% of the GDP, so we need to fix it first. That is the first requirement. The second and the third requisites are linked. And the logic is quite simple here. You need more people to buy and hold the rupee. But they should have a reason to do that. Either India should export a lot of goods, in which case you can use the rupee to buy those goods or buy these exports. Or it must be great investment. The Indian rupee must be great investment. Let's look at exports first. India makes up just 2% of global exports. The US makes up 8.5% and China makes up almost 15%. So
now, ibi wa la máa sọ̀rọ̀ tá máa fi parí ẹ̀. Ṣé rí pé global export, global ní gbogbo àgbáyé, India 2%, America 8.5%, China 15%. This is what makes a country. Tó bá gbọ́ èdè ara wọn, tó lè sọ èdè kan náà. Bèbí tẹ̀ ń wò yìí, loyalty ẹ̀ fún India ni. Mo ti follow ẹ̀ dáadáa, loyalty ẹ̀ fún ìlú ẹ̀ ni, torí ìlú tó ń sọ èdè ẹ̀. Àwa náà ti ṣe loyalty fún Nàìjíríà, bá wa realize pé it's a waste of time. So n ta lè sọ nísìnyí pé gbogbo loyalty wa, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé padà wá sílé, kó padà wá sí movement Yorùbá nation. Nírì jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Koiki, please, is the maze runner death cure or double? Which one of them? Maze runner death cure, okay. No, maze runner kìíní ni. The maze runner, náà pé the maze runner lásọ lẹ́ǹkan. Kí lorúkọ fíìmù yẹn? The maze runner. Òun lorúkọ movie náà, maze runner ló ń jẹ́. Maze runner. Fẹ́yìn tí ẹ bá fẹ́ lọ wò lórí Netflix, is worth watching. I'm gonna watch it again. It's a very good movie. It's called The Maze Runner. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n fún wọn ilé nǹkan sí kí n tó máa lọ. Òun lélẹ̀. Maze runner ni maze runner. So movie tí mo sọ yẹn lélẹ̀, fẹ́yìn tí ẹ bá fẹ́ lọ tún mi. Maze runner ló ń jẹ́ maze runner. So òun nìyẹn. All right, Dizzy, I'll pick it up. Mo kí ẹ o lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. Sound mi ò padà. Sound yẹn ti padà nísìnyí, ìyá mi comfort. Yeah, sound is okay, yeah, ẹ ṣé gan ni. So, tí a bá ní strength, a padà wá lálẹ́, if otherwise, ó tún di ìgbà tá a bá tún padà nìyẹn. Torí èmi náà ní one or two things mo fẹ́ lọ ṣe nísìnyí. So, mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí o. Àníṣe lásán. Building ten wò yìí, $81 million ló fi kọ́ Hindu temple tó ṣe kọ́ ní ọdún yìí ní United Arab Emirates. $81 million. Lágbára Ọlọ́run, Yorùbá náà máa kọ́ temple tiẹ̀ sí United Arab Emirates tó dẹ̀ máa ju eléyìí lọ. Bọ̀ká tó lè débẹ̀, a máa come together, a máa di odindi, àwa lè push láti lè sọ pé à ń lọ. Kò ṣe pé èèyàn kan máa náà ń lọ, èèyàn kan máa sọ pé àìtí rẹ̀ dì, ìyẹn ò ní lè work o. Mo kí Olóyè Ìgbòho, mo kí Bàbá Akíntóyè, mo kí gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ tó wà ní gbogbo olú Yorùbá Nation campaign, mo kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ APC, PDP, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ padà wá sílé. Ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá tá à ń sọ, ó kàn mí, ó kàn wọ́n náà, kò ń ṣàwa nìkan. 1914 amalgamation is one of the biggest fraud. Àníri jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹni tá a bá dárúkọ ẹ má fi ṣèbínú. Gbogbo àwa tá à ń ṣe bye day nínú mọ́ǹtì, àṣọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀ láyé. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin mọ́mì wa, ẹ̀yin sisters wa, ẹ̀ ń fi àdúrà ẹ̀ fi ránṣẹ́ sí wa. Ẹ̀yin pastor, ẹ̀yin imam, ẹ̀yin babaláwo, gbogbo pátápátá náà là ń kí o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká túbọ̀ gbàdúrà fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá pé kó má gba ilẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ o. Àníri jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Bye for now. Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Thank you so much. Have a very good evening. Bye for now.